We should actually opening markets that we should actually let you know about with the JRA is that Maldivian 280 out to $3, Master O'Reilly 230 out to 235.
Mares, just Bronfelinity, she's just such a good mare. I think she might be the pick of the mares if these two favourites can get rolled. Although I'm looking at Solar Croy, maybe needs a run, but somewhere down the track he's going to win a nice race this campaign. Not much in front. Bronfelinity, you mentioned her. She
suit Master O'Reilly. I doubt if he'll be getting as far back as he did at Flemington last outing. But he's got a long, sustained run and he can continue that run. He came from a mile back. Runners are ready. Gates are back and they're off. They've come out in a good line too. Activation began okay. Out towards the middle here. Pacino bounced quickly. Bronfelinity away well today. Further out is Maldivian coming over when they settle down. Activation getting up on the rail. Pacino, Bronfelinity and Maldivian out three on the outside from Activation. Silvise to the inside. Master O'Reilly 15 from the lead. He's second last, but he's starting to go forward. And Field Hunter last of all. 700 out up the side. Maldivian a half in front of Pacino from Activation. Bronfelinity. Sulacra then Laser Sharp. Further back Zilzi. Master O'Reilly going around Rare Poppy. He's making his ground quickly. He's 4 lengths off them. He'll be the widest runner. Further back Canal, Field Hunter. Then Tacit Agreement and Hoffmeister at the 450 and Maldivian held together. Well off the fence from Pacino. Then Activation getting up on the inside from Bronfelinity. A length further back then Laser Sharp and Master O'Reilly. They've got a lot of ground to make up because Maldivian has sprinted away. Maldivian by 4 lengths around the turn. Oh, this is his right form tonight. He's 4-5 in front of Pacino. Master O'Reilly, Bronfelinity, Field Hunter, but Maldivian's going to canter home. Maldivian, a brilliant exhibition, wins by 5 lengths to Pacino. 2 away third, Master O'Reilly, Bronfelinity fourth. Then further back, Field Hunter, Zilzi, Laser Sharp, Tacit Agreement, Rare Poppy, Canal followed further back in the brilliant win.
Yes, easy as you like there for Michael Rott on board Maldivian. Took over finally from Pacino, who kicked up early in the race and then just dictated. Got off the fence a long way from home, Ralph. Clearly the jockeys want to stay away from the fence. And got a very, very soft run really from about the 12 for Master O'Reilly, who ran terrifically well against the pattern here. Let's have a look at the totes, Ralph. First was number 7 Maldivian, $3.20 the win, $1.40 the place.
Right, now backed him up quickly. That's right. Yeah, he's a pretty gross horse and he needs a bit of racing. He'll have a run again in a fortnight over 1.5 miles and then go 7 days back up into the Cup.
And the way very confident a long way out.
Well, they've been swooping pretty well tonight, but when they said Master O'Reilly was 15 lengths off of him, I thought, oh, shit, I don't reckon he can get him. So I thought, oh, he's right now, but, you know, he won pretty good tonight.
Congratulations. $10 and the $7 for the Caulfield Cup with Betstar, the son of Zabeel, the gross son of Zabeel, who backed up within 6 days and won. Pacino good on pace. Master O'Reilly, no disgrace at all for mine, even though well held in the third. Look at them, Shane, they ran home in 34.9 and Master O'Reilly gave them 10 lengths. Like Maldivian was what you see is what you get, and Master O'Reilly was just as good.
I was very happy with both performances because I still like these horses very much for the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups. I remember a couple of...
early and yeah, that's what he did. It was just beautiful. It was sort of the run you'd like to see after a horse backing up within a week, and it wasn't a gut buster. It was more like a track gallop.
Look very mindful of Bonia, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Well, they've gone up another half for him winning that, so he's got 52.5, which is, yeah, it's a bit of a luxury for me now.
You don't want to swap...
An outstanding performance, there is no question about that. Admittedly, he dictated, made it difficult for horses like Master O'Reilly and Field Hunter, but look, Master O'Reilly probably in his defence is going to want a lot further too. You start to think how many real chances we've got in a Caulfield Cup now.
Well, we've got no interstate Sydney horses, have we? And that's certainly going to have a major impact on the field.
I wouldn't rule the winning horse out of a Caulfield Cup. It does tend to suit some years Caulfield Cups, horses that sit up on the pace. Look, it was a farcically run race this. They just gave him... He got away with murder in front there. He was coasting along, not much better than even time for a lot of it, and then sprinted away. Didn't give those staying horses much chance to catch him because he's got too good a turn of foot. But he's a very talented horse, and I wouldn't assume that Master O'Reilly would run 2,400 or 3,200 metres yet.
You're kidding, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
He's got 2 mile written all over him.
There's been a million horses who've got it written all over them that don't do it, though. And
I was a little critical of the winner last week. I may have went off a little quick because I thought he was a little disappointing when run down by Duro Valley last time, but that's the real Maldivian, and I think Mark Kavanagh's worked him out now. He's lethal off a back-up. He'll run a week before the Caulfield Cup and back up into the Caulfield Cup, and he won't be far away. There's no doubt about it.
Ronnie, what was...
Email said, give us a shot on the bounty-yard.
Okay,
there it is.
9 minutes to go before the race, and...
Doc, you're a bit of an expert on bitumen.
It just looks not ready yet.
We should say Murder Jill's open up favourite. Just one more email there before we go.
There, Rolfie. Open to 240, straight out to 280, but I guess the market is still easing just a little.
All right, they're moving in, coming into line. Moving up now. This is the Stutt Stakes. For the Stutt. Racing. Away they go, the favourite off the 2-gate began okay, and that's Murder Jill with Pillar of Hercules and Diplomatic Force. Here's Davcon coming over from the outside. Antarctic misses up handy early. Barbaricus just behind those, settling down from Playwright, and General Eisenhower is going to be the widest runner on the first turn. Murder Jill in front with General Eisenhower going around the outside, and there's a hurry to go to the front now, General Eisenhower. He's working hard to head off Murder Jill, who gives the lead up now. Diplomatic right out at the 750 turn, and the leader is General Eisenhower, a length and a half to Murder Jill, who'll come to the outside. 2 lengths Diplomatic Force third. Pillar of Hercules fourth from Ciccone. Then Davcon, Barbaricus, a length and a half the Sandman Can. Then came Ciccone, Playwright, a gap then to Puerto Batis. Back in the middle is White Phosphorus from Crown Ruler and Down Under Boy. They're bunching up now with Murder Jill hitting the front, and Murder Jill coasted to the lead at the 300 from Davcon on the outside. Then further back came Antarctic Miss when they turned. Pillar of Hercules getting a run as Davcon goes up to Murder Jill, then Barbaricus, and further out the Sandman Can. Turning in, Davcon's got the upper hand from Murder Jill. Ciccone back to the fence, and Barbaricus wider out on the track. Davcon in front, Barbaricus has grabbed it. Barbaricus with Davcon coming again. Barbaricus just in front, and Barbaricus gets up to win. Ahead to Davcon, 208 third Ciccone. From Pillar of Hercules fourth, Murder Jill disappointing. Then further back on the race, the Sandman Can from Down Under Boy. Antarctic rail here at about the 100.
Nicklick's got a bit of a limp, but he seems to be not too bad. He's certainly walking back unaided after taking the tumble from that horse, Crown Ruler, who broke down.
Yeah, horrible.
From Pillar of Hercules fourth.
Barbaricus 34 into 11, Davcon 151 into 15, Ciccone 34 into 17. The place getters from the Stutt Stakes heading towards the Caulfield Guineas, but they want to get moving pretty quickly. Shane, for mine, if they're going to catch up to Weekend Hustler.
Yeah, well, Luke, you're talking about the Friday night group race against the moderate race today, and we know which one we'll all be watching the most. Even though that race didn't have the controversy attached to it, it was a very similar finish with, a close finish, and they were out in the middle of the track. We saw that horse Barbaricus at Seymour, and he impressed us that day. Look, I don't know. I'm with you, Bruce. I think if what we saw with Weekend Hustler was right the other day, he'll be handling those horses.
My query out of that was...
Big race, but probably the thing about it, and look, there's a couple of horses here that I'm not giving up on yet, and one is Murder Jill. They, set up a real frantic speed. He is a speed type of horse, I know, but I just don't think it really suited him. I'd love to see him just ridden a little bit more quieter. Whether they're frightened to, I'm not quite sure. But I don't think we've seen the best of him. We know he's better than what he's producing at the moment. Barbaricus continues to improve off a pretty good performance at Flemington last time.
As far as a feature, it's not, well, it was a pretty well feature race, meaning the track wasn't up to scratch. It was awful.
Yeah, no, it certainly was. The inside you didn't want to be, though. No. Look, I sometimes wonder who does race programming. No, really, we raced at Moonee Valley Wednesday, and here we are with a Group 2 2 days late. Not even 2 days later.
I know, but they're playing catch.
Sure, we've got Flemington open. We've got no city meeting on Saturday.
Yeah, but they've still got to be a bit careful with Flemington too, don't they? Because they don't want to overtax
come on, Alfie.
Ben's
is right.
Alfie, you're kidding me.
Ben's
you're kidding me.
Right.
Give it to
Stick
him.
it up in Ben's.
No, well, I mean, here we are.
And they may change even more today, Shane, if we see Weekend Hustler do what we expect. There he is at 3.4. They've bet $61 about him. Perilist at 6, on the warpath. OK, let's have a look at the fillies now. As we've told you before, Gabardon, unfortunately for the Kennewells, broke down yesterday. So this is a totally new market. Just to tune Michael Robb, there's a good pick-up for Mike. And the change here with Maldivian, 10s into 7s, Eskimo Queen at $5 for Craig Newitt, Marty. Seeing these top 4 for sure Miss Finland favourite, 280 from El Segundo, 460. Harada Sun, $7. Marasco going to be a beauty next week. And, of course, Miss Finland will not be there waiting for the Yalumba Stakes. Melbourne Cup market. Well, there you are, Shane. Efficient favourite for you there, ahead of maybe better celebrations. This is the most anticipated race of the day here at Sandown. It features the appearance of the much hyped, and there's no lid on it here with the Weekend Hustler, Shane. The more you talk to the McDonald's, the more you get the spruik. Look at that, 110, 110, and on the tote. Let's have a look at the horse. They've knocked back $2 million for. He's won $24,000 only so far. And there he is, Weekend Hustler. And last time we saw him, well, we all had our lower jaws dropped and going, righty, what was that?
I suppose that's the only minus on him. Every time they knock back those huge amounts of money, something goes wrong.
Stand up for grab. Weekend Hustler, they're off. They jumped in a beautiful line after the start. Silky Smooth went back with Cheesh, and one of the first out, Viatorian, with on the outside Morgan Dollar. And now Weekend Hustler's going forward. He's out 3 deep early. MJ Hussey 4. He's moved on Weekend Hustler. He goes up 3 deep around Viatorian the inside, and Morgan Dollar outside this leader as they come to the turn. So there it is in the red jacket with the white cap, the rider. 3 wide coming for home now, Weekend Hustler. Viatorian first for home from Morgan Dollar. Weekend Hustler, Willis allowed him to canter up on the outside. Then MJ Hussey. Further back than Raffaello. Now he starts to ask the favourite to let down, and Weekend Hustler on the outside gets its head in front of Morgan Dollar. Viatorian is starting to fight on. He had to put a couple behind the saddle on the Weekend Hustler, but look at him open up now. He is the real deal. Away he goes. This is the best part of him, the last 150. He is sprinting away. Good on you. You're a good horse, fella. Weekend Hustler by 3 or 4 to Viatorian. Morgan Dollar third. They're followed by MJ Hussey, followed by Carbon Trader, then Silky Smooth. A gap on the...
He's a real deal, not as brilliant as he was last time we saw him, Shane, but job done. Took the sit today, lengthened at the right time. Best part of his race, the last little bit. He now goes to the Caulfield Guineas, and he's going to be mighty hard to beat.
Yeah, look, retro. It's nice to have you along with us. A Super Days racing yesterday at Flemington. We expected it. How are you, Michael?
Good, my friend. Yes, a wonderful day's racing of sorts here at Flemington yesterday. We had the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, and we had the ugly state of the track there. Second meeting back, where they've spent a gazillion on this place. 9-metre rail produced an inside disadvantage like you couldn't believe. What a disgrace.
All right. Coming down into the mounting yard here for the listed Concept Sports Stakes. Now this is a very good race for 3-year-olds, and some quality 3-year-olds going around here again today. It's around about 20 cents. So that 410 you're getting on the tote, he's now pretty close to that mark too. On the warpath has drifted out a point.
Lights are flashing and away they go. They jumped away in a fair line. Modenari on the warpath, and Snipper Spree a little bit slow to get into stride. Huss and Lightning away quickly. Pins on Parade coming over with it, followed by Bitalaga. Up on the inside, on the inside came Ribeiro, second last on the warpath, and Vandale last of all. 650 metres to go. Huss and Lightning coming to the bend, a length and a half in front. On the outside of it, Pins on Parade. They're followed by Bitalaga. Nine Tails out wide. Confidence Reef back on the fence when they turn in. Dandy Dollar is off the track. Further back, Pit Lane held up in traffic. Huss and Lightning at the 400 on the outside. Pins on Parade. Nine Tails further out, followed by Dandy Dollar. Confidence Reef the fence. Pit Lane behind them. Ribeiro coming down the outside at the 250 metre mark. Pins on Parade and Dandy Dollar. Dandy Dollar grabs Pins on Parade, and Huss and Lightning back on the rail. Dandy Dollar laying in a little, got its head in front. Huss and Lightning fighting back. Pit Lane getting out late, but Dandy Dollar's in front, and Dandy Dollar's going to come home and beat Huss and Lightning a length. Third home is Pit Lane, fourth Ribeiro. Vandale ran on from on the warpath. Then
the Weekend Hustler last time out, were you?
Well, he beat us by about 6 lengths, but just the same, I don't think he would have beaten us by 6 lengths today. We'd be happy to run second to him next week, Bruce.
All right, Nick. Good goes on now.
Oh, yeah, this one. It was a massive improvement. I do think the blinkers made a big difference. Its run at Sandown wasn't that bad. It was beaten around about 6.5 lengths. But I just can't get over how much it improved. Just amazing.
Well, maybe that says about, once again, we're talking about the 3-year-old group here. They have been taking turns. The only one who's been consistently dominant is Weekend Hustler, and he seems to, be the rightful favourite.
I know ratings aren't
bet market for you. Weekend Hustler at $1.75. Shrewd Rhythm, Marching, Barbaric.
On the tote, looking down the list, Maslin's Beach has been easy, somewhat surprisingly. Specking for Maloose at around the 8-1 mark. Vormista's been steady. They put up $3, 2 to 1. The favourite 12, Vormista.
It is a pretty open sort of a betting race, yes. Vormista clearly.
100. Gates are back and they're off. Oh, Panteni missed it about 3. The back in the race, Bellini Rose. They're followed further out now by Evil Webb tracking into it. They leave the rail. Panteni on the inside of Malouse. Formister is back on the outside of Dynamiter and Sovereign Miss, but it's running on a right in the straight now, and it's Al Poi coming at it quickly like it is up the centre, and further out is Evil Webb, Bellini Rose, and here comes Formister. Formister, the widest runner, is out after Al Poi. Al Poi leads from like it is. Formister and Bellini Rose. Formister winding up on the outside. She's got them now. Vormister, the favourite, takes the lead now from Al Poi, Bellini Rose, and Vormister sprinting away to win 2 lengths. I think Bellini Rose gets second from Al Poi, a great run third after working hard from like it is, and further back Sovereign Miss, Dynamiter. Then,
well, Steve, your theory held up there about the mares dropping back from Group 1 racing, and Vormister, of course, she was such a good run. It was such a good run she put in behind a Gold Edition last start in the Group 1 and just flew home.
Yesterday, would you have a look at the Maya Classic? Yesterday, would you have a look at the Maya Classic?
That's definitely on the agenda. The Tristar Caulfield Cup Day, and then those
horses getting across the line there again at Morfordville, but won by some wonderful fillies, Steve, over the years. Of course, She Will Be Loved last year, just getting Miss Finland on the line. Serenade Rose, a Lingy special.
Certainly have. Last year was interesting. I'm sure this will be no different. Forensics on the tote, $14. Similar on course, Sleek ready. Now, what's happening on track? We need to let you know. Sleek Chassis, well backed. They turned her out to as much as $7.50. She's firmed 1.5 points. Jester Tune. Further down the page, numbers 14 and 15, Absolute Glam and Perfect Persuasion have had specking Absolute Glam into around $9.
Forensic the inside, they're off this time. Forensics bounced quickly today. Jester Tune began okay from further out, Sleek Chassis and Catalan Bay. Extension of Time wider out, Grand Journey just off those settling down. Then Bantry Bay followed by Aldana, further back Frangelico. Bonded going around the outside last of all. Bantry Bay up on the outside, finally got the lead inside the 800 metre mark. Going up as Catalan Bay, Sleek Chassis over on the inside as they come up towards the turn. Followed further back in the race, just behind them by Forensics around the outside, Bonded. They're followed by Aldana as they get off the fence and come around the bend. Bantry Bay from Catalan Bay. Bonded makes a line of 3. Sleek Chassis gets up on the inside. Forensics back inside it. Behind them, Jester Tune. Extension of Time. Here's Perfect Persuasion and Riva Sand coming down the outside with Aldana and Serious Speed for the back of the field. Out wide, Riva Sand and Serious Speed going up to Aldana, followed by Bantry Bay. It's Serious Speed, Riva Sand, Aldana fighting back. Aldana gets to the front now. Aldana in front of Extension of Time, Bantry Bay and Serious Speed, and Aldana late, Absolute Glam, Aldana. Aldana's won from either Serious Speed, Absolute Glam and Extension of Time. Behind them, Bantry Bay from Riva Sand. Then Beaming Bella followed by Jester Tune, Bantry Bay, Perfect Persuasion. Behind those friends.
On today for Aldana, certainly sharpened her up because coming through she was going straight as a die. Interim dividends there, number 10 Aldana paid $21 and $6.40 the place. Serious Speed $8 for second and $2.80 for Absolute Glam.
For David, what was the Harry Perks colours and the horse that should have won? Absolute Glam didn't, but Aldana goes now towards the Oaks, Steve.
Yes, and why not? And I think there's probably still improvement in this winner. Only question mark about this race, a couple of lengths from 1st to 10th, no pace in the race, several unlucky runners. I wouldn't draw the knock on She Will Be Loved and the non-winners out of this meeting. Generally, you can trust the Manifold form. Miss Finland, of course, controversially beaten last year. Previous winners, Serenade Rose, a Lingy Special Harmony. The winner of this race, it tends to hold up.
All right, let's see when 1st and 10th, Steve tells you they're
a little bit unlucky. There were horses trapped wide for a lot of the distance in that race. I'm still none the wiser about the 1,000 Guineas coming up about what can win it. I still think it's a raffle at the moment between the 3-year-old fillies. They all seem to take turns at winning. And Gabardon, who looked like she had a little bit on them, she's gone for the spring. So I'm still as confused as ever. Just one thing I'll say, I did like the way the winner went to the line. I think she'll be competitive. Claire Lindop on the second horse just wants to be a little careful about whip use. They are only 3-year-old fillies in the spring of their 3-year-old year. She's fairly willing with it.
Beaming Bella's run was good. Brad bad run, but I take your point, Richie. I think it's a very open 3-year-old bunch.
The early totes for the Turnbull Stakes, the Group 1 coming up here. It's just going to be a fantastic race. We've got Cups hopefuls, Cox Plate hopefuls, and there we are, $47 for here coming up in half an hour. And as a lot of people have said, and David Hayes reiterated, the best Turnbull in a decade here, and what a race this is going to be as well. You can see at the end of his last start, but he's certainly a popular horse, isn't he, Marasco?
No doubt about that. It's a terrific race here too for fans of whatever horse. You can have a little flutter today because you minimum $5. I mean, there'll be El Segundo fans sitting out there going, what's going on here? He's $5.60, which may well be terrific value if that's the way you're thinking. We look at the second.
Things moving a fair way out here?
Yeah, I've instructed him to get things rocking and rolling early on and make sure they make it a true staying test.
Good enough to run out a strong 2000 in this company?
We're going to find out.
Good luck, Mark.
El Segundo just nosed out on the Cox Plate. The Derby winners there efficient. It's over on the inside. The blue cap, white cap on Gallic, red cap on Zipping. Gates fly back and they're off and running in the Turnbull Stakes, and Cinque Chetto, Devil Moon bounced out quickly. El Segundo left the gate well on the inside, efficient from Molotov. Here's Harada Sun pushing on from the outside. He's going forward. He's going around the outside of Zipping. Further back, Scenic Shot, Giro Valley. Then Gallic followed by back Giro Valley, Marasco. They're followed by Gallic. Blue Monday, Blue Tigeroo. Then came Torquay and Eskimo Queen last of all. Coming up the side. They're out towards the 900 metre mark. Cinque Chetto nearly a length in front, well off the fence from on the outside. Devil Moon, Harada Sun can't get on the track on the outside of Zipping, nearer the inside efficient. A length further back, Scenic Shot, Giro Valley locked away as Gallic. Torquay back to the fence as they come up towards the turn, then angling to the outside, Marasco. Eskimo Queen coming deep from Blue Monday, then Giro Valley and Blue Tigeroo as they swing to the centre of the track around the turn and the Turnbull, and Devil Moon on the outside got its head in front of Cinque Chetto. Driving through are efficient, Torquay the fence, and Zipping is there, and Harada Sun further out. Blue Tigeroo behind the leaders, getting a split through. El Segundo now coming through, followed by Scenic Shot across the track here, and it's Devil Moon in front from El Segundo. Scenic Shot on the outside and Harada Sun, but Devil Moon the leader. Scenic Shot starting to go after it from Harada Sun. Then Giro Valley, still Devil Moon in front, and Devil Moon is going to win it a half neck. Two Scenic Shot, three away third, then Harada Sun. From Giro Valley, they're followed further back by Zipping, El Segundo. Blue Monday made some ground. Blue Tigeroo was there. Behind those efficient, Molotov, Cinque Chetto, well back was Gallic. Marasco didn't come on, and Torquay has lost all form. He's last of all.
14, 10 and 5 there after the Turnbull. She's a super mare, Devil Moon, and Bruce Clark's with her trainer, Mark Kavanagh.
Can you get over that, Mark?
Wow, what a win, gee. She's much better than we ever thought. What a fabulous, fabulous run.
Does that surprise you then?
Well, yeah, look, Marasco and Harada Sun and El Segundo are the top three horses with Miss Finland in the land. So, you know, if they had a win as well as she did and as dominant, you think, wow, that's pretty good, you know. I don't know where we go now.
It's a nice problem to have, Mark.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know what to do now.
But Mark Kavanagh, and we sat next to him watching the race, and it was pretty exciting just to be here.
He sounds very excited still now, doesn't he, Steve?
Look, isn't that terrific for that natural exuberance of a guy like Mark Kavanagh, who over the last couple of years has won plenty of major races. He's still got that natural buzz. He lost Tip and Woody during the week. Who cares? I've got Devil Moon, I've got Maldivian, I've got Divine Madonna. He just might cut us way through the spring.
He might.
Corey Brown didn't have not too well, but a great result for you, Corey.
I bet you're sicker than what he was. Look, I've had one ride on this horse before down in Adelaide and run second on her. She's very, very tough, and she showed that today. Although she carried no weight, she travelled really well. She was a little bit sneaky. Coming to the home turn, I got going on her because we hadn't done a great deal up in front. And to her credit, she dug very deep and attacked the line nice.
Really slow mid-tempo there, which...
Performance. 3 in a row this prep, and 3 of the most remarkable wins you've seen from any horse for a long time.
Without doubt, Steve. And speak of making process any easier.
Oh yeah, I think she'll head to the Cox Plate. That's what we decided last night, and that's where she'll go.
It's the obvious way, isn't it, to go for?
I would have thought so. I mean, she did have the tempo in her favour yesterday, Devil Moon, but nonetheless won with authority, with a clear margin to third, which I thought was interesting. You'd have expected some of those better credentialed horses to be making more ground, supposedly better credentialed, I hasten to add. Miss Finland is a very short price favourite for the Cox Plate, coming off a defeat, which I find curious. Had she won the Underwood by 3 lengths, I could understand the short quote. We've seen 2 mares, of course, win the Turnbull, Makybe Diva and Sunline. They carried more weight than Devil Moon, but they were 7 years old and 6 years old. I think there's absolutely no question that Devil Moon should go to the Cox Plate. There is a slight penalty, of course, Mark. You've got to pay, what, $110,000 for the privilege?
She won a bit of money yesterday. She can afford it.
Well, she sits a lot.
Daniel Morton said he's just like he's flying the horse, but we expect him, you know, against these horses we might run a nice midfield race and go into the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups, and he's that happy with the way he's going. He thought he was some chance in them races, but he's run out of his skin today, and you got to think he's going to be a sensational hope.
He just kept coming. Rada Sun, Damien, happy enough?
Yeah, he ran good, Bruce. I was sitting on the winner's back all the way and peeled off just after we straightened. I thought I was just biding my time. Next thing, she just took off. She was too strong. She's improved out of sight.
He's racing pretty dour, isn't he? That quickness, that turn of foot's not there.
Yeah, look, he's racing good, but I mean that mare's undefeated this time, and you know she's put in some amazing performances. Can't take anything away from her. She's just going really good.
Are you happy enough for the Cox Plate, though?
Yeah, look, the horse is in great form. I don't think he could be going any better.
Thanks, Damien.
This was inside the clock tower. It was a good... Yeah, it was.
Thanks. El Segundo, Luke.
Yeah, are we live?
Yep.
Oh, damn. Just he hit a bit of a flat spot today. It's probably a bit disappointing on first reflecting, but hopefully Colin can sort him out between now and then. Just he never sprinted, and he travelled up nice. He had a lovely run. So hopefully we just put a line through this one and look forward to 3 weeks' time.
Thanks, Luke.
Finished off a little bit better than what she did, but had to go right back to last from that sort of gate, and they didn't go overly quick. The winners sort of set up outside the leader, but when they quickened, she wasn't that far away. Last furlong was probably a touch dour.
Yeah, we thought we might roll a little bit closer, but didn't get any cover from one, which is unusual, and he just raced a bit upside down.
What do you take out of the performance?
My feeling is he just doesn't stay a strong 2000. He seems too brilliant. Had a lovely run in transit. I was able to come in.
Strange game racing, isn't it? Didn't you ride Devil Moon last start?
Oh, mate, I tell you what, it levels you out very quickly. Even though she's flying at the moment, Marasco looked like the horse that was, going to go bang, but he went pop instead.
Well, he did go pop. Marasco did get galloped on quite badly there yesterday. Decisions to be made on whether he proceeds, but off you watched it.
I will give you a sobering statistic. This meeting last year, when the track also raced a little oddly, 7 of the 10 winners on this meeting last year have not won another race, including the winner of the Turnbull. One of the exceptions to that rule, of course, was Divine Madonna, prepared by Mark, who went on to have a great spring.
Well, what about
you? The confusing part about it is that, a lot of statements were made going into this. Could be the race that shapes the spring. Well, I tell you what, good luck to Efficient, Zipping and the rest of them that never ever look like getting side. Like, what about your comments post-race about a horse like Efficient? Race near lead pulled. Never got closer than that in its life before stepping up to the 2000. Look, I really don't know. Duro Valley was the only one that added a little bit of sensibility to the race itself, heading towards the Caulfield Cup, and I think it's going to be very, very hard to beat, dropping to the 51 kilos. Scenic shot, well, it just raced out of its skin. Good out of the naturalism, admittedly, but didn't think he was quite that good at weight for age. And, look, the rest of them, you're just scratching your head.
Tempo of the race was the key there. First 1,000 in 63.9. The leader's at a dawdle. The winner, Devil Moon, she travelled beautifully up on the speed, and as we've just alluded to there, she raced very well at Moonee Valley. She crossed and led a previous start. Marasco probably can't run a genuine 2,000, but he was beaten 10 lengths, so I think there's more wrong with him.
That's out of character.
Very disappointing race.
He did get galloped on, Marasco. He's come back with lacerations to his hind leg, but even Fred Kersley said that wasn't enough to explain the pretty poor performance there.
That's what I just said.
I think the decision to send Devil Moon to the Cox Plate's a good one, because you'd have your questions about whether she'd run the 2,400 metres, particularly the stunt of the favourites. Anyway, just on Torquete there, he looks like he's given up altogether, Torquete. There might be something wrong with him.
Okay. This is the Group 2 Gilgai Stakes for the sprinters here over 1,200 metres.
Been typical of the day. We've seen some spectacular racing and some horses performing at huge odds. Top 3 here, all big odds on track. 40 to 1 for the next 2, 10, 11. Stands out, has already had support on track. $6 into around the $5 mark. Kelt race, it's going to break Angels now to, given the draw, given the speed and given...
On, you're right, in the betting. Number 12 stands out. He's been spec'd. He's firmed in around about a point.
They're the two that the market's pointing us towards. Here the Angels number 4 and stands out 12 at the bottom.
Shadowways goes up. set to run. Gates go back and they're off and running now. Near the inside, Coachinero began okay. Honolulu has also jumped out pretty quickly today. Keltar Swick getting back. And as they charge down the grandstand rail, on the outside, Misjudgment. Here the Angels first to the outside. 4 metres to go. Misjudgment, here the Angels near the outside fence. Here the Angels on the outside rail from Misjudgment. Further in Anna's Choice. Honolulu up the centre. They're followed further back by Lord of the Dance. Just behind those Shadow Ways. Back behind those Valedictum. Shadowmakers got back. Swick in front of it with Electric General. Flying Object trying to get a run. Then Keltar. Here the Angels in front of Misjudgment. Down towards the 250 metre mark. Here the Angels. Misjudgment stands out, getting up in the centre. They're followed by Shadowways getting a run through. The leader over on the inside stands out. Shadowways after it. Stands out in front of Shadowways down to the line and stands out. Stands out, beats Shadowways. Valedictum got up to run third. Swicker's fourth from Here the Angels. Misjudgment further back in the race. Keltar. Honolulu, Lord of the Dance.
Goodwin stands out there taking out the Group 2 Gilgai Stakes. A few hard luck stories.
Well, he needed a win. He got a win, Cole. Well done.
Oh, that was awesome. Unreal. He's just deserved to win this horse. He's been so unlucky. I feel sorry for him. He's been knocked from Philadelphia post, but he got up and showed him today how good he is. He's a darn good horse, this bugger. He's still learning.
Well, he keeps
the dividends as they come up on the screen for you in just a moment. 12 stands out, 5.42.30, 6 Shadowways, $3, 1 Valedictum, 17.90.
Oh, I think so, Bruce. I had a vested interest. I backed Shadowways, but you couldn't see that protest being upheld. Now, Nash was suspended, was he not? Between 50 and 65 kilometres an hour. Gee, I reckon that's pretty harsh.
Valedictum, fantastic. Heading towards another Emirates Stakes.
Now, Group 2 winner following yesterday, and he's going to be competitive in probably whatever he runs in, up to 1400. The other run in the race, I know he's perhaps a little bit of a tease, but Swick was good again, and you probably have...
I want to mention this as we wrap up Flemington. Terry Watson, the track manager, he was very disturbed the way the track played yesterday. He sort of said this morning that maybe the consolidation, that it hasn't taken place as yet, that racing is required to bring it to A1 order. They've now got a month between now and when the carnival begins. The Kikuyu grass in that time should be growing given the warmer weather. So, look, he's hoping that it does improve by the time we get to Derby Day.
The best part about it, it can only improve.
Gentlemen, the thing about racetracks when you have track bias, when you camber a track, you create an artificial angle, water seeps down. Any track that's cambered will produce a bias at various stages towards the inside, especially when you get rain.
Against the inside?
Against the inside.
Yeah.
They should know that, and they go and they spend $20 trillion on this place and camber the track.
Well, hang on, they only had 2 metres
to go there. They all got out into the middle of the track.
Richard,
I have no huge problem with it. It's a much better bias than being biased towards the rail.
Well, then why shift the rail?
All right. So,
of course, the big race from New Zealand at Hastings today is, of course, the Kelt Capital, and it's about 7.5, almost 7 minutes 48 seconds away. Race 9 from Hastings, the Kelt Capital. Number 1, Railings. Who can forget Railings? The Caulfield Cup winner of a few years ago, of course, Cape at $32. The favourite Sea Change, the Mighty Mare, $2.20. Gaze at $20, $1.62. $9.80 for Princess Coupe. Splashing out at $53.
Here, our richest ever race of $2 million. Who will it be in 2007? We're about to find out. Be quickly set. In the $2 million Kelt Capital Stakes, and a bit of argy-bargy early. The Puka and Mandela collided. Faraway Places went back, as to then has Magic Cape and Ombre Rose. Jadane's begun quickly. Gaze going through. Sir Slick's working forward, and Sea Change following him across to the rail as they come down to us. A circuit to make, and Sir Slick takes it up now. Sir Slick the leader. Sea Change, she's second on the outside. Gaze right behind her, run them into the deck. He's a length and a half in front. Sea Change, she travels very well. She's second on the outside, and Gaze is third, still getting the lovely run. Jadane 4, then splashing out, and Portini Gem. Veloce Bella de Mandela looking to go forward. Wider out on those then as Raylings. Magic Cape, Princess Cape behind them as the Kelt come to the home corner. Then the Puka Ombre Rose, and Faraway Places. The Kelts right on as they swing, and Sir Slick, Gaze, Portini Gem and Mandela. Sea Change, Jadane's trying to get on terms over on the outside. She's fighting Sea Change. Jadane's after it on the outside. Little between them, Jadane and Sea Change. Magic Cape's about to flash, and then Gaze. Jadane and Sea Change, and Princess Cape and Magic Magic Cape. Well, you tell me. A four-way finish. Princess Cape on the outside. Jardine one off. Magic Cape and Sea Change. Give us a look at the replay. Then Mandela Gaze behind them. Ombre Rose, Veloce Villa Railings. Further away then is being splashing out. Surslick was the next. Then the next far away places the Puka and Podati. Magic Cape was after them. And then Princess Cape and Mandela absolutely flew. Noel Harris has given the victory salute. She's putting in massive strides the last little bit. Jardine popping the nose just in front. Sea Change fighting hard. Magic Cape and Princess Cape right down the outside. May have got it. Maybe
Magic Cape. Sea Change not even getting there in the first three, Steve.
She's probably been beaten about 8 inches, I'd say, into 4th place, and perhaps the 2,000 metres is the upper limit for her, Sea Change, but this mare may well come to the Caulfield Cup. Jardine for Russell Capron, Magic Cape the...
Jardine and Sea Change and Princess Cape and Magic Cape. Well, you tell me. A four-way finish. Princess Cape on the outside. Jardine.
Yeah, great call. You tell me. I'll tell you that horse there didn't win, Jardine. It went the way of the horse on the outside. Princess Cape for Noel Harris and Mark Walker, second favourite behind Sea Change. Gee, that was a thrilling race, Steve.
Oh, remarkable. And Sea Change, of course, the mare in the blue colours. We've seen her here. She was beautifully ridden, nursed, kicked at the top of the straight, and you would have thought that she'd win 50 metres from the line. Has finished officially 4th. That's Jardine outside her, Magic Cape in the green, and extreme left Princess Cape will come here for the Caulfield Cup. It was a blanket finish. You have to question probably the standard of this form relative to here. But Princess Cape did give them a big start and pick them up. She was certainly the pick of the runs in the race.
Finished alongside Mandela, who we can get a measure on there as well. Glenn Boss made the trip from Hong Kong to ride Mandela. We know the Geelong Cup winner, who was top 10 Melbourne Cup last year. But Princess Cape, money's on to say that will be a player in the Caulfield Cup. And let's go to the winning connect again.
A pleasure, Bruce.
Let's get stuck. He's loved to lay short price favourites, but I don't think this will be a good one for you. Weekend Hustler.
It's looking a little bit one-sided here. Weekend Hustler is $1.80.
The girls comes up on Wednesday week. This is a wide open market here, surely, Alan.
Absolutely. We've got Arcadia at 7.
Well, I'm sure you have a decent market on this now.
Absolutely. The Caulfield Cup is very exciting. Maldivian is favourite, $7 into $5, a significant liability for us. Devil Moon has obviously shot into second favouritism after the Turnbull, 17 into 8.
Won't be going.
Well, yeah, that is the question. We have now introduced it.
Lately, Turnbull had said yesterday, apart from the fact that Miss Finland wasn't there and tightened in, and there's Devil Moon, Mark Kavanagh telling us this morning, that's most likely to run there, so that market will change.
That market will definitely change. Devil Moon has been introduced as $9 into the Cox Plate. Miss Finland will probably come out at about $2.40. Harada Sun will be $5. El Segundo will be $7. We've laid all three of these significantly. They're all losers for.
Going to be one of the key runners here, and she comes off a Cox Plate. Interesting also looking at Kamani's runner here, Purple Moon, and looking at the UK websites, they've got it $7 or $8 over there. You're betting $15.
$15. So hopefully there's someone in the UK listening or hearing this, and they can ring us up and have a bet with us. But the Melbourne Cup has all been about efficient for us. It is our worst result in the spring. We're standing it for over 400,000. $6 out to.
For the Scalacci, Let Go Tomo there, $13. Capiro, $23. Wishmaster, $5. You can see there, $1.50 for Gold Edition. Reshuffle, $10 mark. Royal Asher, though, this is the one a lot of people thinking she might be able to run down Gold Edition. She's $5.60.
Yeah, certainly. Well, it's a long time since anything but a female has won this race. In fact, 6 years. Gold Edition.
Who missed the Royal Asher money have pushed her back out as there's been a steady flow of 4,000 and 5,000 bets on the favourite. So,
very much for that, Shane. The Royal Asher, of course, by strip.
Just about ready. Set, the gates are back and they're off this time, and she flew the gates. Gold Edition out wide. She landed nearly a length in front of Capiro when they said go. Just behind them our Maharaja, Royal Asher. They're followed up on the inside by Tango Amigos from Wishmaster further back than on the inside. At the head of the others, Master Assassin. Then came City of Ruins, Let Go Tomo, and reshuffles last of all. Gold Edition gets down to the fence and leads our Maharaja to Capiro, and they're rolling along about 2 lengths. Tango Amigos followed by on the inside Master Assassin. Then came Royal Asher. Asher. Further back, Wishmaster. Let Go Tomo from City of Ruins, and last of all is reshuffles as they turn for home. Gold Edition down on the inside from Maharaja as they go to the 300. Then Cap Hero coming to the outside. Royal Asher up the centre. Gold Edition, Our Maharaja. Royal Asher down the middle. Running on pretty well. Gold Edition on the inside. Royal Asher and Our Maharaja coming after her. Gold Edition's a neck in front of Royal Asher. She's going to get through the $3 million barrier. It's all the way for Gold Edition. What a grand mare she is. 3/4 to Royal Asher. Ahead third running on Let Go Tomo. Fourth home is Our Maharaja. Then Cap Hero followed by Master Assassin. Tango Amigos. Well back City of Ruins, Wishmaster, and reshuffles back near the tail. She is a grand mare.
She is a grand mare, and she did. Only now really goes for the mare. $3 million now she's earned, and she's deserved every penny of it.
Win number 17. Don't you just love her? You've got to love her. She's outstanding, this mare. She's got courage to match her natural speed and ability, and chalking up.
After having a month or so off since the Manicato, to be able to hold on when she's challenged. And Royal...
She's a total star, as Steve mentioned. 17th career win, plus $3 million in prize money by Lion Hunter. Royal Asher, look, to have her at top of the straight. Let Go Tomo was very good. But, Steve, how do you... What this sets up, though, is good sprinting clashes too now with Miss Andretti, who we know will run in the Schweppes Stakes, the Old Moyer.
Well, that'll be fantastic, of course. They had a brilliant clash in the Newmarket with Miss Andretti getting the honours. Narrow weeks and a couple of suspensions and everything can turn around.
What do you do in the Schweppes Stakes, Steve? Gold Edition, Miss Andretti. Miss Andretti, I think, trials tomorrow, Monday at Crampton.
You always like to ask me that question. Oh, look, I don't know. Miss Andretti, I suppose she's got a terrific record around the Valley. We've seen now Gold Edition win a Group 1 race there. Oh, look, I wouldn't have a firm opinion either way. I've been engaged to Gold Edition from the word go, and how dare Starthy call her an old scrag. As I said yesterday, she's the Grace Kelly of sprinting, Starthy. But, look, maybe I'd lead Gold Edition because of the fact she's got a few runs under her belt, but Miss Andretti's been outstanding also.
Whatever happened.
Controlled the race, simply awesome. Royal Asher, very, very good. Let Go Tomo, not far away. Fantastic first up. Easier.
I thought she was going to get a Royal Asher at one stage, just for a fleeting moment in the straight, but then she found that other gear that Gold Edition has, and she was just too strong. So there's no excuses for anything.
That makes them top class, Richard.
Yep. She is top class, there's no doubt about it.
She passed the milestone of $3 million yesterday, and there's more to come. It's going to be a great clash with Miss Andretti and the Schweppes over the Flemington Carnival, so I think everyone's looking forward to that clash down the straight.
There's not much in it. There wasn't last time.
No, it'll be interesting.
It's 17 she's won, isn't it? 17
yeah,
from 34.
she's just been an iron mare,
Just on the second horse here, Royal Asher, Lee Friedman said this morning that she ran up to her best. It was just a champion that beat her. She'll go to the Ascot Vale Stakes now at Flemington.
On Super Tab saying $1.20.
Now, we do have an updated version here on track, so we'll run through them. Most of those are roughly right on screen, but we do have an updated pool here, so we might ignore that screen you can see at the moment. We'll run through them. Maybe be last start winner of the Underwood, Maldivian. Would you believe $7? I've taken the unders earlier in the week, Caroline. I'm starting to sound like Richie. Apologies. $55. Miss Finland, $1.20.
There we are. We've caught up. Yep, $1.20. Pretty amazing.
Oh, that's extraordinary. And Anamato.
And you can see, Steve, it wasn't an anomaly earlier on. She's still $1.20 there on Super Tab.
That's quite extraordinary, Caroline, that she'd be so well fancied, particularly across the board as we look.
The runners who cleaned up on Gold Edition have thrown in to have a very big win on Miss Finland. A couple of them key bookies behind me said she's the only name they've written for the entire race.
Which is not reflected on track, but she bids to join some fantastic names, Caroline, doesn't she, with Lonhro, of course, winning this race twice, 2002, 2003, Northerly in 2001, Sky Heights 2000, Northern Drake, not to mention a horse called Might and Power in 1998. It's been a great...
Miss Finland, $4 Maldivian. Ready for the Yalumba Group 1, set to go. Lights are on, they're off and running. And one of the best away, Ruby sent down on the inside with Maldivian. Bromfelinity got away okay with Anakov. Miss Finland going back fifth early, followed by Anamato and maybe better last of all. Out to the 1600. Ruby Manifold, 2 further back, Miss Finland. They've slowed the pace down in front. She's 5 lengths from the leader. Maybe Better got up on the inside of her. And 2 lengths to Anamato last of all. 800 out on the Yalumba. And the leader still is Ruby Centre, neck in front of Maldivian, a length into Bromfelinity. Then Anakov, followed by Miss Finland. Williams about to ask the champion mare to go. She's 5th and starting to make her run. She's coming out 3 deep with Anamato. And Maybe Better last of all. 600 out. And the sprint is on. Maldivian goes up to Ruby Centre, who's under pressure. 2 lengths to Miss Finland. She's winding up to the outside from Anakov, then Anamato and Bromfelinity. Maldivian goes to the lead. Around the turn, Maldivian in front of Ruby Set. Miss Finland's about 3 lengths off them. She's got an enormous amount of ground to make up because Maldivian at the 250-metre mark spreads 3 lengths in front of Ruby Set. Then Miss Finland followed by Anamato. Maldivian still 2-3 in front. Now Miss Finland coming after. I think it'll be too late. Maldivian down on the fences holding Miss Finland at bay. And Maldivian a brilliant winner. A length and a quarter to Miss Finland. 2 lengths to Anamato third. A neck fourth to Maybe Better. Then Ruby Set followed by Anakov. And Bromfelinity is last of all.
He ran them off their legs. Maldivian out in front there for Michael Rodd at number. Kavanagh, Steve, what a strong performance again by Maldivian out in front.
Oh, fantastic race. We might have seen the Caulfield Cup winner in the winner. Is Miss Finland racing like a Melbourne Cup horse? I think she is. She was Brum Cup, but all honours with the winner Maldivian. And next Saturday, of course, in the Caulfield Cup, this was weight for age today with 59. It's reminiscent of Rogan Josh winning a Melbourne Cup after winning the McKinnon. And Bruce is going to...
Champagne was a champagne performance, Mark.
Yeah, he's surprised me. He was just, let's face it, too good for him today.
You said the word wow as you watched it. Does he excite you more than you could possibly believe?
Well, he just keeps getting better and better. And there's a couple of times in his preparation that he over-raced and didn't settle properly in that. But now he's got out to the 2000. We're getting him fit. I reckon he's coming good at the right time.
I reckon you're right. Still got something left in the tank to bring with this horse.
Oh, yeah, there's still a bit there. He's not at his top by any means.
Any chance that he could run in the Cox Plate after a Caulfield Cup?
Well, he's paid up for. Anything could happen.
Good on you, Mark.
Okay.
Win like that with their ears pricked.
Keep stepping up, and I don't like saying it, but there's still more improvement in him.
That's the scary thing there, isn't it?
That and he drops to 52.5 next week.
To give Miss Finland one
speed, makes his own luck and wins as dominantly as that.
Oh, certainly not, particularly stepping to the weight for age competition yesterday, 59 kilos. Pace just steady, which was always going to advantage him, but the closers had their chance, and he was strong at the finish, I thought. Goes into the Caulfield Cup next week with 52.5. It's going to be a classic Caulfield Cup with so many informed horses dropping dramatically in weight. But you would have to love this horse's racing style when it comes to a Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, well, low because we had a 57 top weight, so carry 53, so he drops 6. Out of the race, Anankoff drops 7, Maybe Better drops 5 going well, Anamato drops 4, so how are they going to beat him, though? It's the best Caulfield Cup trial you would have seen, Mark, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. Certainly if you...
Good improvement. How's it going to turn around, Steve, in a week?
Pretty scary stuff. I'm not sure whether any of those can turn it around in a week. I did, however, think that Maybe Better was absolutely superb yesterday. His last 100 was great. He's on song for the Melbourne Cup. He's still the horse.
How many times will he continue to back up? I tell you what you've got to remember, if they think this was a hard run, ignore it. The time they ran wasn't all that fast. He could have ran a lot faster. He wasn't extended over the concluding stages. And the only thing that probably made Miss Finland look as if she was taking a bit of ground off Maldivian was the simple fact that Michael Rodd stood up and backed off. He probably could have beaten it by an extra length and a half had he have wanted to really ride the horse strong to the line.
The only question mark that might come on Maldivian in the Caulfield Cup, if he runs in that, is that the small fields of these weight for age races and the smallish field of the Cox Plate might allow him to get a softer running up on the pace than perhaps the big handicap, where there might be a couple of lightweights want to keep him working at it. And that's the only question in my mind.
He is going to be one of those lightweights. I think he's got 50.5 kilos.
Yeah, he dropped
50. No, 52.5.
52.5, is it?
It still drops enormously
but
on
it's
that
still a significant drop.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and Anamato fits into that
Maybe Better, yeah.
Cup as opposed to Maldivian.
Have a look at Maybe Better here.
Maybe Better, yes.
Yeah, that is a Melbourne Cup trial.
If you've ever seen a Melbourne Cup trial.
See, I look at Miss Finland, and I personally I don't see a Melbourne Cup horse, but I do when I look at Maybe Better. Real grinder. Look at him rattling home there, just at the death there.
But still, your theory is he's already had a go at one.
Certainly.
Yep.
I do believe you said the only thing that could beat Miss Finland would be herself, and Ronnie has been questioning you, and I think Ronnie's winning at the moment.
I'm not saying I'm not saying she can't win a Cox Plate. She can win. No, she's not an even money chance. She's with the pack.
Exactly. The wheels is that she's really not going as well now as what she should be, because at her best, on her game, she wins yesterday. She didn't. Things are changing. You're going to want better odds about her now.
Well, Miss Finland's 350, Devil Moon 550 with Harada Sun, 650 El Segundo Maldivian.
Bad odds. You'd want each way the field.
For sure.
Right. Now let's move
from the start here and having a look at what's happening. On the tote, you can see there are equal favourites there. Number 3, Wonderful World, last year's Caulfield Guineas winner, $4.20, and number 5, Divine Madonna, $4.20, equal favourite on the tote. But on course, I can tell you, Bonhoeffer is the favourite.
Possibly generous at this stage. Wonderful World and Bonhoeffer dominating betting on this year's Toorak Handicap.
Here, unfortunately, because of the horse flu. There's Divine Madonna being loaded up. We're right on start time. Let's head up to Brian Martin.
This is the Toorak Handicap, a field of 10. The top set to go. The gates go back on the Toorak. They're off, and Wonderful World, Nick and Hero both bounce quickly. Wonderful World had his head in front early. A few of these are going back. Divine Madonna with Bonhoeffer and also Valedictum. Now King of Ashford and further out in the track, Orange County and Spielmeister coming over. Nick and Hero easing behind them now from Dr. Nip and Tuck, and then later the Manor Bonhoeffer. Divine Madonna last of all. Spielmeister leads the Toorak down the side. Inside the 900 on the outside now, Wonderful World out to his quarters. To the outside second, 2 to Orange County, Nick and Hero fourth offence. A length further back then came King of Ashford, then Valedictum, Dr. Nip and Tuck, further back Bonhoeffer, 10 lengths from the lead, followed by Ladder the Manor and Divine Madonna last of all. The Toorak field at the 600, Spielmeister and Neck in front. On the outside second is Wonderful World, 2 to Nick and Hero, inside Orange County, King of Ashford further out, Bonhoeffer on the outside it then came Divine Madonna. They turn in, they've got Spielmeister, King of Ashford and Wonderful World have hit the front together from Spielmeister. Nick and Hero behind them. Here's Divine Madonna and Bonhoeffer. They're coming down the centre. Wonderful World. Spielmeister fighting back. Nick and Hero getting out late, and Divine Madonna with a late run. Wonderful World in front. Divine Madonna out wide's grabbed it. Divine Madonna takes a lead from Wonderful World. Nick and Hero in the centre, and Divine Madonna wins the Toorak. A neck on the line. Nick and Hero second. I'd say a nose to Wonderful World third. Fourth is pretty interesting. Valedictum, Ladder the Manor. Behind those Spielmeister, then Bonhoeffer, followed by Dr. Nip and Tuck. A gap then to King of Ashford, Orange County back near the tail.
2 Group 1s in a row there for Mark Kavanagh. You could see this little mare. She's still got her head on the side a bit, but she's...
You've seen that movie Let It Ride, haven't you? You're having a very good day.
Yeah, well, this is probably one of my best on the racetrack. There's no doubt about that.
You said
to peel out and track him up, like you said, and I was very confident we come around the turn because I knew that, you know, if she's within striking distance, sort of 5 or 6 lengths away from him, she should run past him.
I was a bit too soon to ask you this, but...
There's your trifecta, $94.30, not too bad, and the first 4, 173 on 5.
Mark Kavanagh. It was a cheeky dig there, Mark, but it worked.
It worked. He produced his best yesterday. Stellar ride from Michael Wright.
Take us through.
You certainly got, you know, the weight for age option is there, and you just got to think about it. I mean, she's never raced at Moonee Valley. She's never raced over 2,000 metres, but, you know, maybe we don't want to die wondering. We'll just wait and see.
Well, she's going to have
it every week. It's tough. Look, this is a very good mare. She's proven before. Last year we saw her win at Flemington. She'll win more at Flemington than she wins around the corner, there's no question about that, but that's what makes this win just a little bit special. Pointed him, Ladder the Manor made nice ground over the concluding stages.
I was
thought
disappointed
most of the
with
others had their chance.
I was disappointed with Greg Childs on Ladder the Manor. I thought he had an opportunity to tag onto the back of Divine Madonna. Now, maybe she accelerated quicker than Ladder the Manor could, but if he'd have been on her back instead of 4 lengths behind her, I wonder what the finish would have looked like then, because now he's only a length and a half behind her on the line.
Yeah, but that was the move. And I'm a bit elsewhere there. I think he was just in that awkward spot when they did make the move. But look, I know this is a bunch finish, but I reckon I want to back this mare in a Cox Plate. She can adapt to any sort of tempo. She can come from the back in a slowly run race. She's lethal off a fast speed, and I can just see her sprinting off the bend at Moonee Valley.
I don't think I've ever seen a stable with 3 as good a hopes in a Cox Plate as Mark Kavanagh has, not even in the glory days of Bart, Tommy, Colin Hayes.
CS.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
You're probably right.
This is something extraordinary.
It'll be interesting.
I will say it's going to be one of...
So, I think you're right.
You can get $13, Divine Madonna, Ronnie.
Yeah, you could have got 40s yesterday, the day before.
All right, well...
Caulfield will host 3 Group 1 races tomorrow, with the bulk of the interest on the $1 Million Guineas. And bookmakers remain absolutely baffled by the weight of money for Weekend Hustler. It remains the raging $1.75 favourite, with the next best at $13.
Be unbelievable.
For bookmakers, the overwhelming support for Weekend Hustler is confusing and frustrating, to say the least.
We've barely ridden another horse. We've taken a bet of 2,000 each way on Huss and Lightning, and outside of that, we've barely ridden another name of a horse. So it makes it a difficult task for bookies when you've got such a lopsided market.
And in the week...
Number 1, Huss and Lightning, $17. Murder Jill, $22. Scenic Blast, $11. On the favourite, $3.50. Please, put handcuffs on. Lock that $3.50 in Weekend Hustler. Morgan, $1.75. On the Warpath, $28.
Favourable gate, and we look forward to a spectacular Caulfield Guineas. As you can see on the tote there, he's around $2.50, a little better.
30 cents longer than that.
Goes that. They bet $2.10, and a couple of bookies are now regretting that they did. $2.10 taken. They quickly then took $2.05 and $2. So what's happened here is a lot of punters who are behind have thrown in on this horse not only to get out but also hit the front. The official fluck at the moment is $1.95, but there's only 2 or 3 bookies, but there's only 2 or 3 bookies betting that. Most of them have already been wounded and are into $1.80. So all the money here, Steve, is for this hot favourite, Weekend Hustler.
40 Tulloch, some 50 odd years ago, but Caroline, back in 1986, it was Aberidi at 250 to 1. Marwong at 66 to 1 in 1980.
Set to go on the Guineas. And the racing in the age Guineas, and one of the slowest out, Ciccone, and on the Warpath. He began okay, the favourite, Weekend Hustler, but going forward, Huss and Lightning took it up now from Morgan Dollar, and he quickly gets off the fence, and Weekend Hustler, as Murder Jill comes over on the outside of him, and when they settle down, it's Huss and Lightning from Morgan Dollar, Murder Jill and Weekend Hustler fourth from Kinagawa, the middle from Pit Lane, pitching Ciccone, MJ Hussey, Barbarigus, and last of all is on the Warpath. They're inside the 600 in the Guineas, and the leader, Huss and Lightning from Murder Jill, and now Weekend Hustler gets to the outside. He lets him stride, and Weekend Hustler goes up to take the lead before the turn from Morgan Dollar, Murder Jill. Huss and Lightning the fence. A gap then to Pillar of Hercules, Scenic Blast, then Shrewd Rhythm into the centre from Dandy Dollar. Weekend Hustler has hit the front around the turn on the Guineas. A length in front of Scenic Blast coming after him. Then further back, Murder Jill from Shrewd Rhythm. He asked him to extend, and extend he does. He has dashed away Weekend Hustler by 2 to Scenic Blast with 150 to go. Then further back, marching, getting out and running home well. But a new star emerges. Weekend Hustler is brilliant in the Guineas. Weekend Hustler wins by 2 lengths to Scenic Blast. Second, third, Avcon, then Barbarigus, Pillar of Hercules. On the Warpath, Pit Lane, MJ Hussey, Ciccone, then Murder Jill, Huss and Lightning, Dandy Dollar, Kinagawa, and last of all is Morgan Dollar.
Well, we wanted to see the good horses step up today, and this horse certainly has done that. Number 12, Weekend Hustler, proving the wraps on him were all warranted. Look at him, ears pinned back. He in the Caulfield Guineas for Weekend Hustler.
Fantastic result. Great ride, I think, at the end of the day from Brad Rawiller. Only his 3rd Group 1 win. I think he rolled the dice, Caroline, thought, I think I'm on the best horse here. I'm going to peel from the 600. What's the point of cushion? He's run 136.4. That's nearly a second quicker than Divine Madonna in the Toorak. He has stamped himself as a seriously good horse, Weekend Hustler.
There were any doubters?
That word might have gone potential now.
Do you say so?
No, I think it is. Yeah.
You were very calm watching that race. I was watching you through, and there's never a hint of doubt that this was going to happen.
No, well, you know, Brad rode him terrific, you know, pulled him off there. Our plan was not to let anything push us across to the fence when we come out of a horse, or just so he wouldn't get pushed in and get hemmed in. We knew he was the best horse, and, you know, they can't run his sectionals. I'd be surprised to see what he run home in.
It would have been even better to be on his back.
He is unbelievable, and I just laughed at the fact all week that they kept saying how, you know, it's not the strongest Guineas and so forth, but that doesn't mean he's no good. I mean, he's a superstar, and overdrive probably needed to be used, but he's just got levels beyond levels, and wait till he has pressure and something to chase for longer.
You look, they have great faith.
It's pretty special.
Well done, thanks, Brad.
And thanks to all my family here today. It's just unbelievable. Nash getting here after he's not riding, and he's here to support me, and it's terrific. And
Brad Rawiller, $2 $1.30, 3 Scenic Blast, $3.60, 7.
Spoke throughout the week, and you haven't kept a lid on this horse, Weekend Hustler. You've been out there saying the best horse you've ever trained, and yesterday you dropped it probably off it.
This morning, confirmation comes from Timeformers that the Bible of marking horses in this country came up with a 124 rating for this horse off this win yesterday. That puts it along Lonhro's Caulfield Guineas win.
Well, it's, very good to have a rating like that for, the amount of time he's been racing. He's only been probably 5 or 6 weeks since he had his first start.
That's a quite extraordinary thing, Steve, isn't it?
He was explosive yesterday. And
performance by the horse, by the jockey, and forget about what's behind him here. This performance here will be talked about in the same vein, Steve, as the Reduced Choice victory, as the Lonhro victory, as the God's Own victory. He's well into that league.
I think so, when we look at what some of the best Guineas winners have gone on to do later in their careers, and I think this horse certainly falls into that category, because I'm pretty sure...
No, we'll work out what we're going to do with him.
Do you need to run him again this spring?
We don't, but, he's a racehorse. They can spend all the rest of their life in the paddock when they're retired.
But you seem to be...
Guineas first, and before you say it, but look, he's the best I've ridden, and looking forward to the future.
And today...
outside the winner.
Outside the winner, where do you go? I'm struggling. Scenic Blast did a terrific job. He was wide all the way and was courageous there. But look, he's not exactly hitting the line like a Derby horse. We're looking for Derby horses now.
Davcon might have hit the line fairly well, and so did Marching. He sort of ground away.
Davcon, Barbaricus and Marching maybe, but I'm not convinced that this is going to be a strong Derby now. I know this winner stands alone. Looking behind him, I'm struggling to find a horse that I like.
Well, if he will settle, which he didn't quite settle yesterday, he did have his mouth open for a little while early in the race. If he settles, he'd be the horse to beat in the Derby. I mean, class will carry you through in a Derby.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be a stayer.
No, he's too brilliant.
You were away last week with a horse by the name of Villain.
Okay, he might be the one. Yeah, I did see the replay.
Have a look at what's happening here on track. Number 1, Tacit Agreement. H. Bowman for Danny O'Brien, I think, pushing towards the 540. Dolphin Joe's pretty spot on. Master O'Reilly, are my eyes going or what? $1.60, turn it up. It's in the black figures on track, but only...
210 about this one too, Master O'Reilly. He's now into the red. So they've played up all their winnings on Weekend Hustler. I know a lot of bookies were having a very big goes and lots of bets of $10,000 and $20,000 being wagered on this horse as we get.
I suppose unless you're a Miss Finland fan, it's gone pretty much according to the script. A couple of minutes away now from the winning edge, 2,400 metres. Group 2, I think Shane's told us all we probably need to know from the ring that
they're off on the winning edge presentation, and they've bounced out in a good line. Reggie, one of the first out with New Kid in Town, Southern Courage, and further out Laser Sharp going back Dolphin Joe. Here comes Zavit from the outside. It'll get the lead pretty easily down at the winning post, Zavit, as they only canter to the judge with a lap to go. Zavit 2 to New Kid in Town. Tacit Agreement, the imported horse, goes up on the outside. Then Courage back in the middle, and 2 to Master O'Reilly. I'll have to produce a big run from the back of the field and come from last to win. Over the top of the hill they go. They're at the 950. Tacit Agreement out by 3 lengths in second placing. Now 4 lengths to Zavit. 2 lengths to New Kid in Town. A length and a half to Reggie 4. 5th on the inside, Dolphin Joe. Then Laser Sharp. Back in the middle, Southern Courage. Master O'Reilly starting his run. He's starting to go forward in those green colours, and Canal last of all. Tacit Agreement in front, but he's throwing everything at it. Savich strides up to quickly join him from New Kid in Town. Then on the outside, Reggie from Laser Sharp. Master O'Reilly will come wide, and waiting for the runners, Dolphin Joe and then Southern Courage. They bunch. Tacit Agreement is gone. Zavit at the front from New Kid in Town. Widest runner on the outside is Master O'Reilly with Laser Sharp and Dolphin Joe behind those. Into the straight, Zavit down on the inside with a kick. A length in front. Master O'Reilly asked to let down the outside. Coming after him now. Then Reggie, Dolphin Joe and New Kid in Town. Master O'Reilly lengthening now. Here he comes. He's hit the front from Zavit. At the 200, Master O'Reilly takes the lead from Zavit, fighting back. But they're well clear of Reggie. But Master O'Reilly, the favourite, too strong. Very good Caulfield Cup trial. Master O'Reilly wins the winning edge easily by a length and a half to Zavit. 3 away third, either Reggie or Dolphin Joe. Then a gap to New Kid in Town. Further back, Laser Sharp. Southern Courage, Canal. Something amiss here with Tacit Agreement. This seems
for this horse, really, hasn't it? Yeah, this was always the race that we sort of knew that we had to tick off along the way, and yeah, he's going really well. He's going to be a really nice horse at 2 miles at Flemington. We saw.
It's been an interesting. The form around some of these staying races is really stacking up this spring. Master O'Reilly
absolutely paid their dues, and Vlad Jurek, like Brad Rawiller, rode that horse with a great degree of confidence. Happy to sit out the...
Very good Caulfield Cup trial. Has 50.5 with the raised weights for the Caulfield Cup. Can't be penalised. Has 50 in the Melbourne Cup. Would need 1 kilo from Greg Carpenter, who'll announce it tomorrow to virtually guarantee him a start in the Melbourne Cup. Surely, Steve, for $2.5 million, you've got to run in the Caulfield Cup, don't you?
I would think so, and a penalty would certainly please Vlad Jurek leading into the Melbourne Cup. Look, you've got to run in the Caulfield Cup, if only because it continues to be the best lead-up run to the Melbourne Cup, despite a few changes in international visitors over the years.
Get back to, it's going to need a lot of luck, but you saw it wind up and cover ground around it. Look, it did all the work and won very, very well.
What work? Well, what about the stablemate Pacemaker? Well, can someone tell me about that?
Well, hang on. The stablemate's the horse being pulled up last. That's the American horse.
I was happy because I took the short price.
But you know what? The stewards have shot themselves in the foot with their own rules in this regard. Now, I'm not saying that horse was sent out as a pacemaker. I'm not making those accusations.
Richard.
Is there?
Yeah, yes. Well, they've shot themselves in the foot. If the trainer has come to them and said, this is the way we want to ride the horse, alerting stewards and they've gone along with that before the race, well, then what case can the stewards possibly have with the trainer after it?
No, well, look, they've opened the inquiry. One thing that has upset the stewards is that was the Danny O'Brien didn't go to them and say, we are changing the tactics of the horse.
Oh, well, I heard. I thought he did.
I assume obviously not if he hasn't.
And the other thing is that...
Got a bit of problem there.
Once a wet track, I just think he's more a Melbourne Cup horse, but I can see him charging home in a Caulfield Cup and having him flashing light on him for the Melbourne Cup.
Which, what, the winner?
Yeah, the winner.
No,
the winner,
totally agree.
Maldiving into 320 yesterday, Alan. After that, how are you shaping up here in the market?
It's very, very one-sided again. We're standing Maldivian for a truckload now. It opened up 420 before this weekend, into 350 after yesterday's run, into 320 last night, and this morning it's into $3. Eskimo Queen has drifted 650 out to $8.
Did you get the big money?
Maldivian's certainly got to be the short quote that he is. I think there's a couple of rays of light for you. Maybe Better, maybe Scenic Shot. Running second to the Turnbull to Devil. I would have backed Devil Moon in the Caulfield Cup to my nose bled. So I've got to default to the horse who ran second to a Scenic Shot, proven at the 2400, and maybe Princess Cope. Maybe they're the ones that might say.
It's a disastrous result for us, to be frank with you, but maybe Better as one we've taken the same as Steve. We think it was a good trial for the Caulfield Cup, probably a better trial for the Melbourne Cup even, and it's sort of coming along nicely.
Cox Plate, well, Mark Kavanagh's got all the guns here, having beaten all the stars, beaten Miss Finland, beaten El Segundo, Harada, Sun and Marasco and co. But Miss Finland retains a tenuous grip on favouritism here.
Absolutely. She's $2.40 prior to the weekend, went out to $3, just to let the viewers know it's out now.
Melbourne Cup, Alan, and surely here you've got a decent market, a decent book going.
We do. Again, Efficient has been the pick of them, but Miss Finland is now favourite after what we thought was a good Melbourne Cup run yesterday at $7. Efficient has drifted from 7 out to 8. Master O'Reilly has been an obvious shortener at 13 into 8. Maybe Better, as we touched on. This is how we've lined them up, Bruce. We have Absolute Glam as favourite at $6. Arcadia is $7. Eldana is $8. Just a Tune is $8. Belcentra has drifted after yesterday, $7.50 to $9. Serious Speed is $10. Riva Sun, $11.
Absolute Glam not originally nominated, I suppose, Wednesday.
What's happening there? Just a Tune, $5.30. You go down to $9.40 for Eldana, the Edward Manifold winner. Did nothing wrong, but as David Hayes has said, perhaps more heading towards the Oaks and this Riva Sun. We'll go further down. Serious Speed, $13. Gee, sensational run out wide in the Edward Manifold. $6.30 there you can see for Absolute Glam. Arcadia now the favourite. Of course, we saw that.
This is the feature today. Serious Speed, field of 14 at Group 1 level. This is the feature today. Serious Speed, Beaming Bella ready. WA. Racing in the 1,000 guineas, Eldana extension of time, Bantry Bay bounce quickly with Riva San. Away fast Antarctic Miss around Gestatune early. Tucking in behind Truly Beautiful, Zarita coming over quickly on the outside with Arcadia. Beaming Bella, Absolute Glam, Serious Speed and Bonded last of all. Settling down, Antarctic Miss takes it up now from Perfect Persuasion going up second. Bantry Bay third, Zarita across running fourth but 3 deep. Then it's from Beaming Bella. Further back Truly Beautiful, Absolute Glam, Serious Speed and Bonded last of all. 600 out in the 1,000 guineas. Antarctic Miss from on the outside, Zarita. Arcadia 4 deep, Perfect Persuasion 3 out coming up to the turn. They're followed by getting a run into between the horses now, Just a Tune. Then Riva Sand coming for home. Extension of time trying to get a run as they come around the turn. The leader Zarita. Antarctic Miss fighting back on the fence. Again got the lead from Zarita. Then Perfect Persuasion down the outside, Just a Tune. They're followed by Extension of Time getting a late run through. She's coming home well. It's Antarctic Miss Yes, on the outside here's Serious Speed coming at it from Extension of Time. Serious Speed from the back hits the lead from Extension of Time. Wider out Riva Sand, but Serious Speed comes on to win. 2 lengths Extension of Time, Antarctic missed third, 4th Riva Sand, then further back Absolute Glam, Zarita, then Bonded, Perfect Persuasion, then Eldana, well back, Truly Beautiful, Just a Tune, Beaming Bella, followed further back by Arcadia, and Bantry Bay is last of all.
The South Australian filly showed it was no fluke, that run in the Edward Manifold by Royal Academy. She's flown home round the turn. You could see
Leon McDonald's here today. She was an eye catcher, of course, in the Manifold Stakes. Perhaps we all ignored that form, Leon. She ran right up to exactly what she did there.
Yeah, I think so, and you know, she did cover a fair bit of ground in the Manifold, but it was probably the best part of the track to be at the time, and horses on the inside were getting into trouble, and she was out clear, but today is something special.
She's come on so quickly from as a filly.
Oh, I think she's something serious, I suppose you could say, Bruce.
Serious Speed. Well done, Leon.
Thanks, Bruce.
Leon McDonald, the winning trace out there, Danny.
Turnbull Stakes Day. She's just a tough filly, but she's still learning her trade. She's very green, but I mean, from the 600, you couldn't put enough on her. She was just jogging, and I was just thought to myself, I'll wait till I, you know, at least halfway around the bend, and she'll kick good. And she surprised me, the turn of foot she showed.
Yeah, when she comes quickly.
Yeah, and the way she finished that race off there, Bruce, you know, I don't think there's much problem with getting up to the 2000, and then whether she goes on to an Oaks, I don't really know, but gee, she's a nice filly.
Great opportunity for you to...
Right up to an excellent performance, of course, in the Manifold Stakes at Flemington.
My feeling is to believe what you saw, Briss. Feeling is to believe what you saw, Briss. Quite outstanding. Forgive Zarita, forgive Eldana. Antarctic missed Brave on pace, but Serious Speed gave them a start, picked them up, one running away. And she was probably the best run in the Manifold also. She's the benchmark at the moment.
We've done exactly the same. It ran on very, very strongly. It's a very good horse. River Sam was the horse that was getting held up in the Peter Moody colours of the white with the blue and white stripes.
And Truly Beautiful, this horse ran third in that same race.
This thing, it ran all over the track in the straight too, with its tongue hanging out the side of its head, ran in, then ran out. And
that's as dominant performance from a 3-year-old we've seen, other than...
It's as green as grass, but it's got the good stride and finishes off well. Obviously one to follow. Obviously,
actually, as I said to you, these...
You've got to go back to 2001 for the last Derby winner to come through the Norman Robinson. In recent years, it's been the Vase at Moonee Valley, but pretty good horse this, I think, Villain.
He is indeed. But
has been really well backed here. He's a market mover. Number 1, Villain.
Thanks to Shane Templeton there in the betting ring telling us that punters have been happy to take the short odds number 1 Villain from the ring. Villain from the ring. All other runners at this point have been particularly easy, which is no great surprise as we prepare for the Norman Robinson Stakes. They're your totes.
Robinson, race number 4 on the program. Gates are back and they're off and running this time. And down near the inside, Jabal Tarek began okay with Pillar of Hercules, and further out Cadeos. On the outside, New Jean is travelling forward, and Move Faster going back now from down under Bamagira. Further back Latorio, and 2 lengths last of all Spare a Dime. So it's a sprint home coming to the 650, and it's New Jean about 3/4 in front of Cadeos. Pillar of Hercules winding up to 3rd, Jabal Tarek 4th. 2 lengths further back than came Move Faster. Villain back 5 lengths from them from Cohort, Spare a Dime. Then Bamagira followed by Latorio. Pillar of Hercules going quickly on the point of the turn. Races up now to tackle New Jean and hits the front now. Down under Boy further out. Villain into the clear down the outside. Further back Jabal Tarek. Then Move Faster. Pillar of Hercules down under Boy coming at it. 2 lengths to Villain ducking in behind them. It's Pillar of Hercules down under Boy and Villain. Down under Boy. Pillar of Hercules fighting back followed by Villain. Pillar of Hercules in front. Pillar of Hercules wins it. A half length to either down under Boy or Villain. Latorio flashed home late followed by New Jean. Then Cohort further back on the race. Then Jabal Tarek. Gap in the field then to...
The tough win by the son of Rock of Gibraltar in the Group 3, Norman Robinson.
Well, why not?
And that was, of course, 2001, Peter Moody winning this race with a Melfi, the last horse to progress from this race to win.
Livened up by Peter Moody during the week, and it did work. Beating down to Boy, who was good. Villain, outstanding given the tempo of the race. Slow tempo here. Steve played the way of Nolan, who made it work his way.
Oh, he was the smartest rider in the race, no question. They went ridiculously slowly. 1:05.3 for the first 1,000. Scooted home. They're running home. Latorio ran home in 33.4. Villain in 33.6. In the open sprint yesterday, the closing section was 33.7. So I think the best 2 runs were certainly Villain and Latorio, but on the other hand...
Yeah, he does look as if he's going to stay, but whether he can stay yet. Peter Moody's, you know, openly said he's still a little bit immature mentally and physically. You know, look, quite frankly, if I owned it, I don't know whether I'd pay up, because I don't think it's got a hope in hell of beating the third horse, Villain, because, again, it goes back to Flemington. It's home place. Was a gate, it's going to get a much better run than it has in its last two.
I actually thought Latorio was a better run than it, Alf.
Sorry?
I thought Latorio was a better run than the Derby favourite. There's Latorio in the pink cap and the greeny colours coming through behind, sort of changing direction, getting buffeted around a little bit, and really hits the line well.
Yeah, one's got the score on the board, the other one hasn't. But look, I do concede with what you said, Richard. Latorio, we pointed it out last for the rails.
Certainly, Caroline. Glorious day here in Melbourne. Blue skies, not a cloud to be seen. Crowd certainly building well beyond the 40,000 mark. And
name changes here for the sponsors, but Vormister, she is a clear-cut favourite here for this mares race. The next one up in around about 7 minutes from now. Last preparation, of course, won a maiden by 8 lengths. So any horse that can win any race by 8 lengths has got a ton of ability. This horse.
They're racing this time, and they bounced out in a pretty good line. She's commanding. Translate a little bit slow to get going. Vormister goes back after the start with Dynamiter, and Soleil's pounced straight to the front from Gill, settling down from Like It Is, and Miss followed by Vormister back at the tail with Dynamiter. The leader Soleil up the side, 8.50 out, a half to Gill, 2 to Like It Is. They back to speed a little now. 4th on the fence, Misjudgment. 2 for the back, Pims and Tuit. Miss Fantabulous followed by Bellini Rose. Then Translate. Dynamiter taken deep with Vormister back to the inside from Imposing Way. Well back coming up towards the home turn is Sovereign Miss. Up to the bend they race. They're at the 500. Soleil a length in front. Second on the outside, Gill. A length into Like It Is. Followed on the inside by Misjudgment. Further back then Bellini Rose when they turn. Vormister's back last of all and pulled to the outside, but in the straight. And Gill races quickly down to Soleil. Misjudgment the fence. Bellini Rose and Like It Is coming quickly. Translate getting behind those. Vormister has a huge job to do at the 150. Like It Is, Bellini Rose and Miss Fantabulous got up on the inside. Miss Fantabulous got through. Miss Fantabulous gets up to win. 3/4 to either. Like It Is, Bellini Rose, Translate. Then further back, Imposing Way from Pims and Tuit. Then Misjudgment followed by Soleil. Vormister, wrong place, wrong time, followed by She's Commanding. Further back was Gild and the
good ride there by Michael Rod, getting Miss Fantabulous up on the inside. You can see $80,000 now, not only listed but a Group 2 winner as well.
5, 6, 1 and 9 on the Herald Stakes here at Caulfield. Miss Fantabulous 18.30 and the first 4 on the numbers.
And new connections in Costa del Lago mare. For Mr. Dwayne Dunn said the mare did not feel comfortable in her action early, but having got back, which is her normal pattern, appeared normal interaction in the middle stages.
Previous vision, you saw that they backed off, and that was the story of the race. They really slowed for about 400 metres mid-race. Blanket finish. Winner gets Dream Run. She's a good, solid mare. But I don't think we can draw any conclusions whatsoever from the form out of this race.
Maybe we can.
One Undue, 5.90. Let Go Tomo, 3.90. Looks the favourite early on the tote. Won't be on track. 3 stands out, $8.90. You won't get that. $8.50, Tewkesbury Jack. Monet Rules at $12. Shadow Ways at $7.50. Coconero. Typhoon Z at $8.10. Our Maharaja at $18.
Maharaja just arriving there now. Let Go Tomo, number 2 at $5.20. Out from $4.70 in the last 5 on the tote. Solid is Undue. He's better suited here. $6.40 out to $6.60. The $5.40 Typhoon Z, number 11. Our Maharaja about $17. Left in a good line. Shadow Ways, no speed out of the gate. And one of the first away. Monet Rules out towards the middle. Quickly taken on by Ticklish. Tewkesbury Jack out deep. Typhoon Z, our Maharaja driving through. The fence from Sipowicz. Then Onally, and last of all Shadow Ways. $5.50 out. Up before the turn. Ticklish. Typhoon Z the fence. A length Tewkesbury Jack. Then came Tarango deep behind them. Our Maharaja, followed by Monet Rules. Let Go Tomo held up, so's Undue on the fence. Trying to get out the grey, stands out from Cocinero. Tewkesbury Jack going quickly. Hits the front now from Typhoon Z. Ticklish. Let Go Tomo getting out late, then stands out. Tewkesbury Jack in front, 100 to go. Typhoon Z fighting back. Let Go Tomo wider out on a lead. Tewkesbury Jack in front near the line. Tewkesbury Jack wins it a short head on the line to Typhoon Z. And Let Go Tomo wider out on a lead, followed by stands out. Then Monet Rules, Shadow Ways, further back Cocinero, behind those Ticklish, our Maharaja, Tarango Undue, and Sipowicz back near the tail.
Tough win there. Tewkesbury Jack first up since May, and he was a very strong sort of a horse. Tewkesbury Jack, a good record too. 15 starts now, 6 wins and 3 minor placings. There's Typhoon Z close.
Jack, bigger.
15 starts now.
Stronger, better than ever, and Darren Gauchi's one ride for the day. Amazing. And look at that price, $11 for Tewkesbury Jack. Typhoon said, let go, Tomo. You wouldn't think those that finished behind him were going to be a trouble to him at Flemington, but there might be a couple called Gold Edition and Miss Andretti.
I think this was his career best performance, Tewkesbury Jack, resuming yesterday. Richard Callender talked about the press and just extraordinary. But he's a pretty good horse. Lots of good runs behind him. Let Go Tomo stands out. Shadowways, Coachinero, Honorlee, Typhoon Z. They're all okay, but clearly the best run in the race was the winner for mine.
Trained by Jude.
Of course, one more race to go before we get to the Caulfield Cup. This is the David Jones Cup, over 2,000 metres of Group 3, formerly known as the Gilgai Handicap. And Molotov at the moment is a favourite. It's a pretty open betting race again here, ahead of Fire in the Night and also...
of Ashford, that's about the only other one that is attracting any interest here on track. And Steve, I've noticed that the crowd in the betting ring has thinned out. Some of them probably getting early vantage points for the cut.
1,000 the gates go back and they're off and running, and Honorjeune and Pacino both went out to the rear after the start, and Molotov bounced out in front of Fire in the Night and Sulacra, and further out Cholula. Behind them Drax back, Lacey Underall, then Dan Ever to Meister, then Aces High, further back Schumpeter, Pacino, and Honorjeune is last of all. 1,000 to go up the side, and it's Cholula and Dan Ever slowing the speed, two in front. Second on the outside at the moment still is Dan Ever outside Cholula, then further back Sulacra. On the fences Molotov, a length into Fire in the Night running fifth. They're followed by Drax back on the inside of Lacey Underall. Then came King of Ashford going forward from Hofmeister Pacino. Aces High Schumpeter coming up the side, and Drax back is just back over on the inside of those when they come to the bend, because they're bunching up. Honorjeune last of all. Up before the turn Cholula, Dan Ever very deep on the track, Fire in the Night. Further out Lacey Underall, Hofmeister Drax back behind those. Cholula turning for home, Molotov gets out. Further out Fire in the Night. It's Molotov going up to Cholula and Fire in the Night on the outside. Two then to Drax back, and down the outside Pacino from the back. It's Molotov in front now on the outside. Fire in the Night coming at him. Then Pacino from Cholula. Molotov and Fire in the Night. Molotov, Fire in the Night. Fire in the Night going home better. Fire in the Night gets up to win. A neck to Molotov. I think Pacino third. Fourth Drax back from King of Ashford. Then came Honorjeune, followed by Cholula. Further back in the race.
The first four, pretty skinny there, around the fancied runners, around $440.
Strong win for Greg Urell's Fire in the Night. Molotov every possible chance, but Chino good. Drax back's nearing another win, Steve.
I think that just about summarises it, Bruce. Honorjeune was also pretty good, I think, making significant late ground. Again, it was a race where they slowed mid-race. It happened 3 or 4 times yesterday at Caulfield. Pacino ran on strongly. Honorjeune was sound. The first two satisfactory, and Pacino.
It was a huge turnaround, although indicated. Drax back, I thought it was solid, and the horse right down the outside now, a little horse called Honorjeune, I think's back on track too.
What about the first three there, maybe backing up in the Moonee Valley Cup or going onto the Saab on the Derby Day?
That's a possibility?
It's the...
The first signs of doubt are showing among connections of Maldivian, the red-hot favourite for tomorrow's Caulfield Cup. Trainer Mark Kavanagh voicing concerns about the barrier draw and the distance.
The public has warmed to his horse, but it seems Mark Kavanagh is suddenly getting cold. While conceding Maldivian is 100% fit, the query over whether he'll run out a strong 2,400 metres remains a concern.
There's certainly got to be questions asked about that, but you've got to take that on trust a bit. Maybe everyone's took off on him too early. Maybe he can't run the 2,400. We'll just have to wait and see.
The 5-year-old gelding is aiming to become the first
Caulfield Cup. Torquay, $33 last year's winner. It's 50 points longer than that on track. 44 to that. Maybe better, $8.70, a point longer. Black Tom, 52. You can triple that. Purple Moon at $13. About 8 points longer on track. Maldivian, $3.40, about 70 cents shorter on track. 7 of 4. Valley, $12 is spot on. Sir Me Own, $75, isn't far off the mark. Eskimo Queen, $10, a point shorter on track. Princess Cope, $15, 2 points longer. Master O'Reilly, $8.90, it's a point longer than that on track.
With 20 minutes to go, can tell you that they're starting to push Maldivian out. He's easing out in the ring to 270. Summers figure.
You've got Mark Kavanagh.
Yeah, last word on the favourite. Mark, he looked relaxed in the saddling ring, and your jockey's in good form, so nothing much more you can do now.
Yeah, he just started to sweat up around the flanks and that, but, you know, it's pretty hot today and a bit of a crowd here, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Nothing I can do now.
I think the totes will start around the 270, 280 level, but he's been backed very heavily, Maldivian.
Eskimo Queen, good money, very good money for
7 BMW Caulfield Cup. We talked about the highlights of the past 50 years. Might and Powers win in 1997, voted the most memorable, but this is the world's greatest 2400 metre handicap, Carolina. The names are extraordinary, aren't they, as we look through in that early period to Tobin.
Onslaught, anybody who had the 270 was knocked, and there's been plenty of money now being shoveled on at the 260. It'll probably run 260, but a very, very tight favourite and our market mover for the Caulfield Cup.
Thanks, Shane. We're still seeing the 270 there on the taller than that, and he is tightening up now. Number 8, Maldivian, as we said, he's just such a bold front-running sort of a horse. It will be interesting off the track.
And she is caught. She is lying side on at the moment under the gates, Eskimo Queen, so she's trapped and she is thrashed out. There's no doubt she's made contact with, and she is thrashed out. There's no doubt she's made contact with Master O'Reilly. This is mayhem here. The favourite Maldivian has been released, and Amato has been released. To number 9 have all been released. So a sensation. We'll go back to the team here because Gates
and Michael Rod has got blood on his shoulder, it would seem. That's the jockey we're looking at on screen. Of course, the rider of the short price favourite, that's Craig Newitt with him. Craig Newitt was on Eskimo Queen in the stalls. She's caught under the gates now. He's hurt himself there, hurt his leg. Of course, has taken the boot off, and Eskimo Queen caught in the gates, lashed out at Master O'Reilly. They've backed out Maldivian. He's the horse in the background there with Stephen Arnold. Maldivian has been unsaddled. This is extraordinary. The Caulfield Cup favourite, $2.40 at the jump. Michael Rod, who looked to be injured. The saddle is also off Eskimo Queen, we believe, Carolina.
He's cut himself. You can see that's where the blood's come from. That is Maldivian. That's a real sensation here because you could see that he had his head on the side. Obviously, when she's lashed out, it stirred up a few of the others in the gates as well. That is a terrible sight there for the connections of Maldivian, the favourite here for the Caulfield Cup. Unsaddled now, heading back to the last we saw, the last we heard, she was still underneath the gates. He's got up and he's caught just the underside of his jowl there on the gates, and he's cut himself just under the jowl. So Maldivian will be a scratching, you would say here. He's obviously got particularly stirred up when...
Hello. Yes, thanks, Caroline. It's just absolutely extraordinary. I was just standing with Mark Kavanagh and he saw the horse on screen without the saddle. He said, "That's mine." He said, "I told you I couldn't win it." It's just an amazing scene. I've never seen anything like this in a race, any race, Steve, to see this happen before a race. And look at this, Kavanagh.
Fate. What could possibly go wrong for Mark Kavanagh? He's taken all before him, and this is just so disappointing, so disappointing. It's just going
to be such a deflating experience. No matter what happens now, there'll be a worthy winner. But this, before the race, we're going to lose 2. Perhaps we're letting lost the favourite. Eskimo Queen was second fave.
And we did hear Master O'Reilly might have been getting kicked by the mare as well. So.
They're both out. Both officially out. Maldivian and Eskimo Queen officially out. Extraordinary before a race.
An extraordinary sounds from the crowd here, because those not close to a television, knee deep in the crowd here, probably not aware. They haven't seen that vision. They haven't seen
streaming down, and then they all switched off their boards. You can see it. Horses are milling around behind the gates in the Caulfield Cup, and there's not one board set. It's just totally taken the betting ring by surprise. The people here have backed Maldivian to win thousands and thousands of dollars at better odds than it was back today. They're dumbfounded. The stewards, the bookies are standing here. We'll be in for the most massive deductions in a big race that I think I can recall. And seriously, for the past 3 minutes here, the people were walking around in the ring, shaking their heads, Bruce.
It's extraordinary, Bruce. Master O'Reilly has been passed fit, but the implications of all of this, and we feel for the horse and the connections, and we hope the horse is okay, but the betting implications, pre-post, all in, the whole box and dice. It's extraordinary.
The 2 late scratchings. The favourite is out at 4:04. Maldivian, number 8, and number 16, Eskimo Queen, both scratched by Stutt in 2 separate incidents at the gates. The favourite out of the late. They're ready for the Caulfield Cup. The gates go back and they're off. And Anamato and Chinquay Cheto bounced away okay from Giro Valley Mandela. Further out is Anakoff. From the outside, Scenic Shot coming over with railings. Chinquay Cheto has the lead from Anakoff. Scenic Shot, Anamato. Mandela further out railings from Giro Valley. Maybe Better is up nice and handy. They're followed further back by Master O'Reilly. Then going out of the straight would have been Blue Monday, followed by then Black Tom. He's got back out of his ground with Torquay and Blue Tigeroo. They're out towards the 1400 of the Caulfield Cup, and Anakoff took over. Anakoff by a length, second on the outside, Chinquay Cheto. 2 lengths further back, Anamato third. Fourth is Mandela. A length and a half into Giro Valley fifth. They're followed by Scenic Shot. 2 to Maybe Better, a length further back, Master O'Reilly. Sermione has been wide, followed by Railings. Princess Cope well back in the field, then Purple Moon, followed by Blue Monday. Then came Torquay back there with the tail enders, which are Black Tom and Blue Tigeroo. 850 metres to go in the Caulfield Cup. Anakoff from Chinquay Cheto. 2 lengths to Anamato, followed by Mandela. Then came Giro Valley further back then in the race. Maybe Better starting a run around Scenic Shot. They're followed by Princess Cope over along the inside. Further back, Master O'Reilly. 2 lengths, Sermione, Railings, followed by Blue Monday. Torquay well back, Purple Moon, Blue Tigeroo and Black Tom on the bend, and Anakoff shot away 3 lengths in front of Giro Valley and Anamato. Then came Mandela, Maybe Better and Scenic Shot are winding up down the outside, and Master O'Reilly gets out as Giro Valley hits the lead. Giro Valley in front of the Caulfield Cup from Master O'Reilly coming at him. Master O'Reilly goes to Giro Valley. Then further back was Princess Cope. Master O'Reilly and Vlad Jurek have taken the lead on the Caulfield Cup, and it's Master O'Reilly by 2 lengths. Giro Valley second, third home Princess Cope. Then came Blue Monday running on the outside, then Purple Moon. They're followed further back in the race on the inside by Torquay. Anakoff dropped out from Blue Tigeroo. Well back Mandela just coming home. Maybe Better just weakening from Anamato. Then came Railings, followed by Sermione, Black Tom. Well back Scenic Shot, and Chinquay Cheto was last of all in the Caulfield Cup.
An ecstatic Vlad Jurek there. Master O'Reilly taking out the 2007 Caulfield Cup. The Quinella going to trainer Dan O'Brien with Giro Valley number 14 finishing second. There is Vlad.
In a Caulfield Cup. Only the likes of Bart Cummings do that, Danny. Congratulations.
Yeah, just a dream come true for me and my stable. Yeah, we've done a lot of hard work over the last few years to try and get up to these sort of big races, and to get both these horses here today and see them run so well is just speechless.
Timely, because you
I really can't believe it's happened.
Danny, with 2 horses this time last year who weren't in your stable, you've recruited well.
Yeah, they've been great additions, and thanks very much to the Connections for giving us the opportunities with them on the week's time.
You always said that was your grand final. Is this a little bit of a bonus on the way through?
It is, yeah. It's the best form race for the Melbourne Cup, and you couldn't get a better trial than that.
And Vlad?
They couldn't have done anything different.
I know it's a great triumph for you, but I know in this turmoil before the race, your close friend Mark Kavanagh lost his chance of winning a Caulfield Cup.
Look, no one wants to see anything like that happen. Everyone realises how hard it is to get there on the day, and to see it fall apart in the last minute, it's just really soul-destroying.
Your name's on the leaderboard here at 1-2. Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you.
Okay, Vlad Jurek wins the call.
Bloody awesome.
We've been with you all the way. You sure did. Yeah, you said it was a dream to win a Caulfield Cup. Tell me it was a dream to win a Melbourne Cup, isn't it?
Geez, I said 12 months ago he'd win the Melbourne Cup this horse, and I still think he can,
Tonight, how are you going to...
Here on track, these deductions will apply. Master O'Reilly, $5.20 on the totem, $2.20. Giro Valley, $2.80. Princess Cope, $3.30. 7,800.
Fantastic day at Caulfield Cup Day yesterday, but rarely have I been to the races where the entire focus of the news of the day was hemmed into about 7 or 8 minutes and totally focused around one race. Really, nothing else mattered yesterday at Caulfield. It certainly mattered for Danny O'Brien, who trained the Quinella, first trainer to do so since Jeff Murphy in 1982.
And they are horses that had perfect preparations. They both had to win races to get into the race, and were able to do that with Giro Valley and the Naturalism, and then Master O'Reilly last week in the Winning Edge. So everything was sort of on the right leg the whole time. We drew the good barriers. I was pretty confident on the race day they're both going to run well. So fortunately, we got the right result and they ran one.
Dominant performance by Master O'Reilly. Vlad Jurek eased down on the line in quick time. 3rd fastest Caulfield Cup in history. Quicker than Might and Power. The son of O'Reilly having only start number 19. Danny O'Brien 1-2 with Giro Valley. Princess Coop good. Boss suspended despite a pretty good ride. And runs good. Blue Monday and clearly Purple Moon. But here you are, Vlad. You can find that too much because Speaking to Greg Carpenter, Danny, you got 1.5 kilos for the winning edge, which you didn't carry yesterday, so he'll announce tomorrow. You would think another kilo, which puts you between Torquay and Doremus, 2 and 3 kilos.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that'd be pretty reasonable. I mean, the horse started with 50 kilos in the Melbourne Cup, and he's already up to 51.5. You know, if he gets a 3 kilo increase from where he started, that's probably the high side.
Wouldn't bother.
For a little bit there, I didn't have much left in the tank.
Speaking of the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup factor, it's almost become the norm. Horses completing the double, 4 in recent years since Let's Elope. Danny, I know that you're well aware of this, 10 of the past 15 through the Caulfield Cup. I guess you're certainly running Master O'Reilly. You probably have to run Douro Valley.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's probably not a Kiwi horse that had just come over to us and was showing good promise as a stayer. And
here's the race we're talking about. We know Master O'Reilly. Where's Zuna?
Zuna actually pulled up sore after this race, and then he got very sick. So he's in the OTI colours, not really hitting the line. But look, you know, you couldn't help but to be impressed by this when you saw it in the flesh. And then 2 weeks later, he went to Mornington and went up to 2,400 metres and just probably won even easily again. So you know, horses like that can stay and win like that, you know, they've got pretty big futures.
Glad you rode him here, and you said to us yesterday after you won, you said, I said 12 months ago this horse will win the Melbourne Cup. You were confident then?
Judy always said that once he got up over a trip, he was going to be a lot more effective. And
with Michael Rod, Mark Kavanagh and Craig Newitt, let's go to the drama involving the scratchings from the BMW Caulfield Cup.
He was standing really nicely, and they sort of called the last horses were coming up, so I was sitting off him at the time. I sat back on him, and he just sort of got a bit restless, and he just sort of set himself off. He reared up once, and it wasn't so bad. The barrier attendant was able to sort of bring him down, and then he lunged forward and ripped his head down, and when he came back up, that's when he did the damage, and he cut his neck.
You knew straight away you're in goal, weren't you?
Yeah, I was just looking at it, and I thought, I just couldn't believe what was happening, and I just thought maybe if I put my hand on it and he stays here, no one will see it. But then I thought, well, if something goes wrong, it's, you know, they're going to see the cut, and you know, it opened up and it bled, so it just wasn't meant to be. It
wasn't meant to be, and it set off a chain of events in the stalls, didn't it?
That's right, you know, and you know, it's just, you just feel sorry. I mean, you know, you feel sorry for Mark Kavanagh and, you know, all the owners and his staff that have just put so much into it. You know, I mean, I can sort of go home and come back next week and have eight more rides, but they've got to go back and lick their wounds and have another crack. So I really feel sorry for the owners.
There was a problem at the gates, and then actually I saw some blood on Michael's silks there, and I didn't like it, you know. And of course, then they took his saddle off, and he's obviously sustained a cut behind his offside ear, and it's been stitched up, and I don't think it's career-threatening, but at this stage he's out for the spring.
But when you see that on the...
you know, you just got to roll with it. It's, you know, racing's a cruel game.
She was standing there quite good, Bruce, and something sort of played up in the gates, made a bit of a racket. She just lunged at the front of the gates, but as she come back, she sort of half went up and lost her footing and slipped in behind, but I was sort of stuck in behind, and then she was sort of hung up and cast.
She was in trouble. You looked in trouble yourself.
Yeah, I was sort of stuck down in behind her. I was probably lucky the back gates were still shut, or she might have landed on top of me, but hopefully she's okay, and we can probably move on.
Are you okay?
Spring definitely over for Maldivian. Eskimo Queen's okay this morning. Danny, your turn. I think that's one of the scenes we'll all remember from BMW Caulfield Cup Day, the favourite Maldivian coming back with blood streaming down its neck. James Winks rode a fantastic race in defeat on the runner-up Douro Valley, and he starts our beaten jockeys.
Everything worked out the plan. If anything, he might have pulled a bit early, but it was only because of lack of speed. And you're right, I probably made it for the winner. He just tracked me everywhere I went, but it was good to run 1-2 for Danny, and like we said, we couldn't do, just become a little bit dour the last 100.
From a Melbourne Cup perspective, I thought it was a terrific run today. I was wrong, so.
He ran well. He just got stopped a bit there a furlong out, which wasn't ideal. And before that, sort of down the side, I got stuck behind railings and Sermione, which weren't really taking me anywhere. But he's run well, you know, so I'm happy with that.
So you come out of that.
You have to be a
Jade Princess Coupe good, Blue Monday good, Torquay better. Arguably not a Flemington horse. Purple Moon outstanding, Steve, but sometimes look at the Caulfield Cup and ignore the bleeding obvious. The winner was terrific and sectionals great.
Yeah, certainly he is the bleeding obvious, and I would think he'd go to Flemington even with 1.5 kilos wouldn't stop him. I think the other run in the race was certainly Purple Moon. First 5 home in yesterday's Caulfield Cup, all effectively tracked through on the fence. Purple Moon tracked wide, held up at the top of the straight. 2 best runs for mine, the winner and Purple Moon. And we probably should quickly know...
Old racing saying the highs and lows of racing, and it was never more evident than yesterday, with the highs of Danny O'Brien and the lows of Mark Kavanagh and Michael Rodd and even Mike Moroney. It was just unbelievable scenes.
And as much weight as they did. It'll improve. And this is what you've got to remember. Both of these horses, first and second, go back to their home track, Melbourne Cup Day. That will again assist them. Obviously, a couple of good runs that everyone's sort of talking about is the horse back there in the yellow and the gold, Purple Moon. Well, as those horses were going forward and going away from it, he was getting held up. It was dramatic stages of being held up too, and really assist him too.
No matter what way you look at the race, the winner was the best Melbourne Cup trial, without a doubt. It's a matter of what penalty they give him now.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think the other one was Purple Moon, who should have run, in my eye, third, and maybe even troubled Douro Valley for second if he'd had a clear run. I think he put in a superb Cup trial for a European horse, and if he improves or at least holds his own until Melbourne Cup Day, he'll be right in the mix, Purple Moon. So I was very impressed with him.
We've talked. Look, he's got quite a large cut behind his offside ear, but you know, apart from that, he's bright and he's in no pain.
Mark in the papers up
news this morning in regard to maybe better. The horse is certainly not out of the Melbourne Cup, but the horse has pulled up very lame in the front legs. The off-4 flexor...
Their original program.
I should say the operators these days betting across the board. Miss Finland 340 there with TAB Sportsbet. Harada Sun 5. You can get 550 elsewhere. Devil Moon El Segundo at 6.50 with BetStar. $7 there for Devil Moon. Efficient, Steve. It's look, there's so much pre-post betting on these races. It's good for the game. Well, it is a tough one to assess. TAB Sportsbet got 4.20 Villain. You can get $5 elsewhere. Latorio at $5. You can get $5.50. But this year it's obviously a little bit different given the scenario we've got. Melbourne Cup. Now there were some great discrepancies yesterday. TAB Sportsbet put up $5 about maybe better. They've seen the light there. Not even on the first page. Nor should he be. Master O'Reilly. $5.50. He's shorter with a BetStar. Purple Moon at $7.50. Shorter with BetStar at $6 after that cracking run yesterday. Miss Finland $9 with Efficient, 8 and 9 respectively. 8 and 9 respectively. Scorpion arrives tonight, Steve, with Marley. You can see them in the betting. It is a different race, the Melbourne Cup to the Caulfield Cup, obviously, but with those 2 new horses and Miss Finland, Efficient and Co.
Absolutely, but you trust what you see in the Caulfield Cup most years, and to me that's certainly Master O'Reilly, the winner yesterday, and Purple Moon, the Kamani-trained horse. Maybe better. Look, I wouldn't necessarily put the pen through him. He was flat yesterday, but he's had a long, slow preparation aimed at one race, and maybe the speed's come out of him. He was a little flat in the closing part, but
This will be, of course, from Gawler in about a minute's time, but just updating the Geelong Cup, the Pet Stock Geelong Cup, and I'll quickly run each one of the odds. I didn't see Zavit. Number 5's out. Number 6, Zavit. Dominant favourite, 340. Has already been well. Is 3 points of value. Trick of Light out to each way odds, $5.60.
Pointed out, late for Trick of Light. And that's about the race. Not interested in any of the other players here, Shane?
No, they are not. Chafalu, 9 out to 14. They don't want him at all. And his form's not...
Ready now. Stalls are back and they're racing in the Geelong Cup, and they've jumped in a beautiful line too. Toulouse-Lautrec began okay, so did Zavit and also Chefalou. Irish and the Glen, and from the outside Dane Empire and Bucati Royale. They're going to be nice and prominent coming over now towards the winning post the first time. And from the outside Dane Empire with Chefalou, Toulouse-Lautrec and Zavit nice and handy. Further out Bucati Royale from Iris and the Glen, the Fuzz. Then further back on the race utility, meter mark, and Gauchi tried to get the break on Dane Empire by 2 to Iris in the Glen. Chefalou has gone up third on the outside, 2 to Zavit from Toulouse-Lautrec. Then the Fuzz getting to the clear. Further back Bucati Royale, Desert Master. Well back in the race, Southern Courage, and there goes Trick of Light going around the outside. 4.50 to go in the Cup, and it's Dane Empire grabbed by Iris in the Glen, and coming at them Chefalou. Further out is Zavit, Trick of Light and the Fuzz coming down the outside at the 350 metre mark now, and Zavit and Chefalou are grabbed by the Fuzz. The Fuzz has hit the front. The Fuzz in front of is Zavit at the 200 metre mark. They're clearer further back than Trick of Light. The Fuzz and Zavit. It's the Fuzz and Neck in front of Zavit coming back. The Fuzz and Zavit going stride for stride. Williams throws everything at the Fuzz and he wins the Geelong Cup. The Fuzz wins a half length. Zavit 2 lengths away. Third Desert Master followed by Sheffaloo. Then Trick of Light, Can Canal, a Gap, Southern Courage, Satin Spoon, New Kid in Town. Walking home is Bucati Royale.
Craig Williams makes it 3 Geelong Cups. He won it last year with Mandela. He won it with Sav Rocker and puts the Fuzz into the Melbourne Cup. And David Hayes joins us directly after watching it. And it would have been pretty sweet to watch. It just panned out as you would have hoped, David.
Really, you know, the first words Craig said when he got off the horse last start, I made a mistake, can I ride it next time? I won't do it again. And he rode a great race today. The barrier really helped him. And
you've been talking this horse up a fair bit, David. Obviously, you've got that good opinion that he could measure up.
He just works like a good horse and acts like a good horse and eats up, and he's very sound and just a pleasure to have.
All right, well, congratulations, Geelong.
Well, the Fuzz gets got a 1 kilo penalty for that victory for Craig Williams and David Hayes in the First Tuesday Syndicate, appropriately named because that's where this horse is heading. Just needs to sneak into the field. He's sort of very borderline 51 here, Steve. Probably has to. Well, we'll have to run on the Saab next week, I'd imagine.
Yeah, good performance here. He's beaten Zavit, of course, who'd run second to Master O'Reilly in the winning edge, so we know that form holds up. They run away from the opposition here in the last 100, always a good sign. Geelong Cup, after a long period of no influence whatsoever, has become something of a guide again in recent years through the likes of She's Archie and Media Puzzle. I think they were both pretty good. I'm still not necessarily dropping off Trick of Light. I don't know about a Melbourne Cup, but I think she was had a pretty tough run there at Geelong and will be